Chapter 5690. Sun Jingyi was already very satisfied. She knew that Lin Yi couldn't be by her side all the time, so she was most afraid that Lin Yi would leave for a few hundred years, and when he came back, she would already be dead. Now it was fine, as long as he succeeded in building his foundation, he could at least extend his lifespan by a few hundred years. Lin Yi didn't know what Sun Jingyi was thinking. He continued talking about building his foundation and then talked about the small Jianghu. After all, Wu Tian, Song Lingshan, and the others were still in the small Jianghu, and Sun Jingyi was more interested. Before they knew it, they had arrived at Donghai Airport. Lin Yi scanned with his divine sense and found Kong Xiaobo and Lai Changyi, who had been waiting for a long time. Lan Fan probably had to stay at the headquarters, so she didn't come with them. Only these two co-chairmen went to Europe. After parking the car, Lin Yi first met up with Kong Xiaobo and Lai Changyi, and then brought everyone to the hotel in the airport. Xiaobo, Changyi, you guys take Languza around and eat something. Jingyi and I have some things to do, we'll come find you guys later. Lin Yi said calmly. He was going to help Sun Jingyi build her foundation in the room and make some pills for her so that she could increase her strength as soon as possible. But Kong Xiaobo and Lai Changyi obviously misunderstood the things Lin Yi and Sun Jingyi wanted to do. They smiled weirdly and nodded, no problem, boss, don't worry, it's still early to board the plane. You and sis-in-law haven't seen each other for a long time, you need more time to communicate. Sun Jingyi suddenly blushed. She was not an innocent girl. Of course, she could understand the hidden meaning of Kong Xiaobo's words. If Lin Yi really had this intention, she would not refuse at all. Unfortunately, Sun Jingyi knew why Lin Yi took her to a hotel. Lin Yi couldn't be bothered with these two idiots who thought they were smart. He brought Sun Jingyi to his room. After closing the door, Sun Jingyi, who had always been mature and capable, became a little bashful. She stood there helplessly, which was very cute. Lin Yi handed the foundation building pill to Sun Jingyi and said, Jingyi, let's get started. Let's try to let you successfully build your foundation before the plane takes off. Sun Jingyi didn't take the foundation building pill. Instead, with a slightly red face, she asked in a low voice, do you want to take off all your clothes? It was obvious that he was speaking from experience. Lin Yi suddenly said awkwardly, no need, my strength was too low before, and I couldn't control it well. Now, I will protect you, and I can ensure that your clothes won't be damaged. In fact, Lin Yi had also seen Sun Jingyi's body. It was unfamiliar the first time, but familiar the second time, so there was nothing to be embarrassed about. However, Lin Yi still had to practice alchemy. He didn't want to be distracted by anything in front of him, so he had to give up this rare temptation. Sun Jingyi made an oh sound as if she was relieved, but in fact, she was a little disappointed in her heart. If she had known earlier, she wouldn't have asked. She could have just taken off all her clothes. But wouldn't that be too embarrassing? After all, she was a girl. No matter how mature and capable she was, she would still feel embarrassed. After taking the foundation building pill, Sun Jingyi began to meditate to break through to the foundation building realm. Lin Yi also took out the automatic alchemy furnace and began to refine some medicinal pills suitable for Sun Jingyi. During the trip to the immemorial small Jianghu, Lin Yi had almost used up all the medicinal pills he had. Most of them were given away, and some were sold before the start of the immemorial grand meeting. Fortunately, Lin Yi's spiritual medicine reserve could be said to be luxurious. He could refine any medicinal pill he wanted at any time. The only thing he didn't have the main material was the Jindan. Sun Jingyi couldn't use it for a while, so there was no need to consider it. After Han Jingjing upgraded the automatic alchemy device, the efficiency was extremely high. Soon, the medicinal pills Sun Jingyi needed were refined, and Sun Jingyi herself also began to enter the final juncture of the foundation building realm. Waves of true qi were constantly agitated. After Lin Yi thought about it, he simply took out some spirit jades and set up a simple spirit gathering array. The spirit qi in the secular world was too scarce. If it was just the foundation building pill, it really wouldn't be enough for Sun Jingyi to successfully reach the foundation building realm. After setting up a simple spirit gathering array with spirit jades, it would be foolproof. Sure enough, in the spirit gathering array, Sun Jingyi, with the secret help of Lin Yi, easily broke through the bottleneck of the Heaven Stage Great Circle and successfully completed the foundation building realm. After opening her eyes, Sun Jingyi was pleasantly surprised to feel the powerful strength in her body, as well as her skin that had become more and more smooth and delicate like jade. Then, she glared at Lin Yi with hidden bitterness. These black and slippery things have dirted my clothes, and you still say that I don't need to take off my clothes. Lin Yi was suddenly speechless. He did keep Sun Jingyi's clothes from being damaged, but the foundation building realm changed Sun Jingyi's physique. A large number of impurities were expelled, which was not something he could control. Immediately, he could only smile awkwardly and said, "My mistake, my mistake. Hurry up and take a bath. Anyway, the clothes are with you. It's almost time to board the plane. We should also go out. I'll let you go this time, but I'll settle the score later." Sun Jingyi wrinkled her nose and snorted coquettishly. She quickly went into the bathroom to take a bath. She wanted to be intimate with Lin Yi, but the sour and stinky smell on her body really made her not have the confidence to approach Lin Yi. Wasn't it too shameful? After a short while, Sun Jingyi changed her clothes and went out of the room with Lin Yi. In her hands, she held the medicinal pills that Lin Yi gave her. She looked very happy. Lin Yi originally said that he would put them away after he was done, but Sun Jingyi didn't let him. This was something that Lin Yi had personally refined for her. How could she put it away so casually? She had to take a good look at it. Unexpectedly, as soon as Sun Jingyi went out, she was hit by a passerby. Her hands slipped and the medicinal pills scattered on the ground. Normally, Sun Jingyi had just succeeded in the foundation building realm. Ordinary experts wouldn't even be able to get close to her. It was even more impossible for her to be hit by someone and drop the things in her hands. At this moment, Sun Jingyi's mind was completely focused on the medicinal pills in her hands. She was careful and didn't dare to make any forceful movements, for fear of damaging the medicinal pills in her hands. The medicinal effects didn't matter, but these were Lin Yi's kind intentions. How could she not take good care of them? As a result, all of them fell to the ground. If it weren't for Sun Jingyi's good temper, she would have the heart to kill someone directly. There was no time to say anything. Sun Jingyi quickly bent down to pick up the medicinal pills on the ground. Fortunately, there was a thick carpet in the corridor, so the medicinal pills wouldn't be damaged. "You don't have eyes when you walk. You dare to hit this young master, what do you want? Are you looking for a beating?" An arrogant young man's voice sounded above Sun Jingyi. It was the person who had just hit her. Chapter 5691. Genius 1 second. Remember, if you want to go. The internet provides you with wonderful novels to read. Lin Yi also frowned slightly. He didn't pay attention to this matter. After walking out of the door, Lin Yi's divine sense spread out to find Languza and the other two. Those who passed by were just ordinary people. Of course, Lin Yi wouldn't care, but he didn't expect that Sun Jingyi would be bumped into by him. Although Sun Jingyi didn't pay attention when she went out, this guy didn't have eyes when he walked. He could bump into people like this and even dare to bite back. He was really arrogant. Sun Jingyi ignored this guy for a while. First, she quickly put away the pills to avoid any other injuries. Seeing that Sun Jingyi and Lin Yi didn't speak, the guy who bumped into people became more and more arrogant. Seeing Sun Jingyi's perfect figure and delicate skin, his eyes suddenly lit up. He laughed and said, "Oh, it's a beauty. Hey, beauty, what are you picking up? Viagra? It's obvious that this guy can't satisfy you. Why don't you go with me? I guarantee that you will never be able to leave me again." Sun Jingyi put away the pills, got up, waved her hand, and slapped the stupid guy's face. His teeth flew out. The guy, who spun a few times and then fell to the ground, pouted and said vaguely, Are you big? How dare you hit me? Do you know who I am? UB*TCH, you really want to die. Sun Jingyi's slap obviously didn't make him realize the truth. After saying that, he suddenly got up and wanted to hit Sun Jingyi. However, what greeted him was another slap. This time, both of his cheeks were swollen like steamed buns, and he could no longer speak clearly. After Sun Jingyi slapped him twice, her anger in her heart eased a little. She didn't want to argue with him anymore and was ready to leave with Lin Yi. But that guy still didn't give up. He mumbled something and waved his hands, signaling the bodyguards behind him to take action. These two bodyguards were tall and strong, and they looked quite intimidating. Unfortunately, they weren't even at the golden class, so they didn't react at all. Now that he saw his employer's hand gesture, although he didn't understand what he was saying, he could roughly guess it. He roared and rushed towards Sun Jingyi. This time, there was no need for Sun Jingyi to do anything. Lin Yi directly waved his hand and sent the two of them flying. If it weren't for the fact that they were just ordinary people, even if Lin Yi didn't kill them, he would at least injure them a little. How could he have sent them flying so easily? The pig-headed guy was dumbfounded. He'd gotten a good look at Lin Yi and Jingyi's strength, and he knew that they weren't people he could mess with. He started waving his hands and mumbling to himself, but he probably didn't understand what he was saying. What is he saying? Sun Jingyi raised her eyebrows and asked curiously. Lin Yi shrugged. Originally, he wanted to tell him to ignore him and let's go, but he thought that Sun Jingyi might still be angry. So, he reached out and picked up the pig-faced man. He used his true qi to reduce the swelling on his face. At least he could hear some human language now. You are cultivators? Do you know who I am? I'm from the Lu family in Beijing. One of the biggest families in the Cultivator Association. Don't think that you're great just because you can fight. If you don't apologize to me obediently, I can kill you at any time. Do you understand? He'd thought that the guy was apologizing because the situation wasn't looking good, and that he'd only helped Jingyi with the swelling. Who would have thought that this idiot would threaten the two of them like that? Didn't he understand that his life was in the hands of Lin Yi and Sun Jingyi? No matter how strong your backing is, what can you do if they want to kill you? But if it was Yanjing's house Lu, Lin Yi would have to give them some face. After all, it was Han Jingjing's family. You're from Yanjing's house Lu. Which branch are you from? Lu Tianyi or Lu Tianli? Or another branch family? Lin Yi decided not to argue with him, but he still asked the question casually. The idiot immediately became smug. He pursed his lips and chuckled. Looks like you know about the Lu family in Beijing. You even asked around quite clearly. You don't have to care which branch I'm from. I'll just tell you one thing. The president of the Cultivator Association is my cousin-in-law. The entire Cultivator Association has to give face to my family. Do you know how awesome my family is? Hurry up and kneel down and apologize to me, and I'll let you go. Lin Yi was curious. The Cultivator Association had a new chairman? Who was it? And a marriage alliance with House Lu? Who's your cousin-in-law? Sun Jingyi also knew about House Lu. They were allies of the same level, so she was quite familiar with them. She was curious as to who this guy's cousin was. You'll be scared to death if I tell you. Listen up, my cousin-in-law is Lin Yi, do you know that? My cousin-in-law and cousin have gone to a higher level to cultivate. You won't understand even if I tell you. Hurry up and kneel down and beg for mercy, or I'll kill you. Although he didn't have a mouth full of teeth, his proud expression made Lin Yi want to put his teeth back and pull them out one by one. Lin Yi never thought that he would meet a guy who used his name to act cool. Most importantly, he did it in front of him. Should he let this idiot go for his own sake? Sun Jingyi secretly pulled the corner of Lin Yi's clothes, and there was a hint of inquiry in her eyes. From this guy's words, it wasn't difficult to infer that his cousin should be Han Jingjing, and looking at his appearance, he didn't seem to be lying. Lin Yi still had to give Han Jingjing face. He had just used Han Jingjing's automatic alchemy furnace to refine elixir. He couldn't go back and kill her cousin. That would be too unkind, so Lin Yi gave Sun Jingyi a look, indicating that it was better to let this matter go. Sun Jingyi nodded slightly. She naturally wouldn't object to Lin Yi's intention. Moreover, she had a good relationship with the Lu family in Yanjing. She had to look at the owner before beating the dog. She had to show some mercy to the relatives of the Lu family. Forget it. I'm too lazy to argue with you about today's matter. Just take it as giving face to Jingjing. Jingyi, let's go. After Lin Yi confirmed Sun Jingyi's intention, he said casually and prepared to leave. Unfortunately, Lin Yi's magnanimity made the guy think that it was his background that suppressed the other party. He suddenly became more arrogant and said with a laugh, "Are you afraid now? If you are afraid, why don't you hurry up and apologize to this young master? You want to leave like this? How can it be so easy? Men can get lost after kowtowing a few times. Women don't need to kowtow. Stay and let this young master have a good time, and this matter will be over." Chapter 5692. Genius 1 second. Remember, if you want to go, we provide you with exciting novels to read. Lin Yi had already spared him once, but he still dared to insult Sun Jingyi like this. Even if he wanted to give Han Jingjing face, it was impossible for him to not consider Sun Jingyi's feelings. After all, in Lin Yi's heart, they were all his confidants, and there was no difference between them. "What's your name?" "I'm going to fly to Beijing in a bit, and I'll go ask the Lu family who gave you the guts to be so arrogant and domineering outside." "Lu Tianyi? You're just a cousin of the Lu family, right? You're not even a core member of the Lu family, and yet you come out to swindle people. It's easy to get people killed, you know." Lin Yi looked at the idiot coldly and said lightly. If it wasn't for the fact that he was just an ordinary person, Lin Yi would have directly cleaned up the Lu family for them. Presumably, Lu Tianyi and the others would not have any complaints. The guy's body trembled. Although Lin Yi did not release any aura, and his words were not fierce, he still felt an inexplicable chill rising from the bottom of his heart, as if he had really caused some big trouble. However, this guy was obviously not someone who would shed tears until he saw the coffin. After this feeling was attributed to an illusion, he puffed out his chest and said loudly, "Who are you trying to scare? This young master will not change my name, and will not change my surname. Fan Jian is me, and I am Fan Jian. Do you remember?" Sun Jingyi immediately burst into laughter, and hid behind Lin Yi, covering her mouth as she snickered. Such a beautiful woman was really too undignified, and she could not let others see her like this. Love go little say net. Lin Yi was also speechless. To be able to shout out, "I am Fan Jian," in such a loud voice, this person was indeed very despicable. But to be honest, this name was really easy to remember, and it was easy to remember. Fan Jian, right? I'll remember it. I'll ask Lu Tianyi when I get to Yanjing later. Lin Yi felt a little weird when he said that. Was he being cheap? Then I'll draw you until you stop. Normally, this would be smoother, right? Yo, you really scared this young master to death. Do you think you can suppress me by bringing up my Uncle Tianyi? Who do you think you are? You can see my Uncle Tianyi if you want to. How naive. Fan Jian said with a look of disdain. However, looking at his expression, it was indeed despicable. Lin Yi looked at Fan Jian with a smile that wasn't quite a smile on his face. I'm your cousin's husband, Lin Yi. If it weren't for your cousin Jingjing, you would have become a pig's head by now. Ha 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 ha. Boy, you really know how to brag. It's fine if you say you know my Uncle Tianyi, but you actually say you're Lin Yi. This young master is going to die from laughter. To be honest, you went to Yanjing to do crosstalk, right? Fan Jian was stunned at first, then he laughed. When Lin Yi said he knew Lu Tianyi, he was a little worried. However, when Lin Yi said he was Lin Yi, he was instantly relieved. In the entire Lu family, who didn't know that Lu Jinghan had followed Lin Yi to a higher level of cultivation? Although it didn't spread to the outside world, it was known internally. If Lin Yi came back, Lu Jinghan would definitely come back as well. Fan Jian wasn't a core member of the Lu family, but he was related to them. News of Lu Jing'an's return would definitely be the first thing he heard. Love go little say netka. Therefore, in Fan Jian's opinion, Lin Yi was a braggart, and an unprofessional braggart. In this case, there was no need to make him kowtow and apologize immediately. It would be more satisfying to watch him make a fool of himself and then play with him. Lin Yi casually pulled Fan Jian aside and said lightly, "Believe it or not, don't block my way. We still have a plane to catch." A plane to catch? Don't tell me you're talking about the 12:20 flight to Yanjing? What a coincidence, I'm also on that flight, and it's on the way. Let's go to the Lu family together. Fan Jian said with a sinister smile. He was just thinking about how to go to the Lu family with Lin Yi, and then expose Lin Yi's lies in front of Lu Tianyi. Then, he could use the Lu family's power to teach Lin Yi a lesson, and he could also step on Lin Yi's handsome face. After all, Lin Yi was very powerful, and he wasn't his opponent. He had to use a delaying tactic. He didn't think that Lin Yi would be on the same flight as him. What could be better than this? Lin Yi held onto Sun Jingyi's hand and walked to the elevator. He couldn't be bothered with this clown. He wanted Lu Tianyi to take care of the Lu family himself, just in case another Lu Tianli appeared. Fan Jian had a new plan, and so he didn't care about making Lin Yi kowtow and apologize anymore. As for Sun Jingyi, he felt that this beautiful woman wouldn't be able to escape from his palms. There was no need to rush. He waved his hand to signal the two bodyguards to catch up. The three of them chased after Lin Yi and Lin Yi. Lin Yi didn't reply just now, so they couldn't be sure that they were on the same flight as him. Fan Jian had to keep an eye on them to prevent Lin Yi from escaping. Lin Yi didn't care about the three people following him at all. When a normal person was walking, who would care if they were being followed by a few ants on the ground? They might not even know if they were accidentally stepped on. After meeting up with Languza and the others, Kang Xiaobo distributed the pre-prepared tickets to everyone and boarded the plane through the VIP passage. Originally, Languza didn't have an ID, but with Qin Yutian, a lackey from the Supernatural Investigation Bureau, it was easy to get an ID for Languza. It was done in less than a day. Fan Jian was relieved when he saw that Lin Yi was really on the same flight as him, and they were both in first class. As for the two extra people, he didn't care at all. One had to say that this Fan Jian was really a playboy. Sun Jingyi, the head of House Sun, rarely appeared in public, so it was understandable that he didn't know her. However, the two co-directors of Miracle Dr. Guan's medical company were definitely influential figures, and he didn't recognize either of them. It wasn't wrong to say that he had eyes but couldn't see. At this moment, Fan Jian was still proud of himself. He thought to himself, when I reach Yanjing, someone from House Lu will come to pick me up. By then, you won't be able to run even if you want to. When I reach House Lu, what are two cultivators? The two groups of people boarded the plane one after another. As soon as Lin Yi sat down, he saw a familiar beauty wearing sunglasses. It was Cheng Yi, whom he hadn't seen for a long time. He was surprised. The world was really small, and he could meet familiar people everywhere. Just when he was about to go over and say hello, Fan Jian's eyes lit up. He ran over and said, "Beauty, are you alone? Do you want me to chat with you for a while?" Chapter 5693. Cheng Yi flipped through the magazine in her hand. She didn't even raise her head and said indifferently, "Please conduct yourself with dignity." As a celebrity, Cheng Yi still paid attention to her personal image. If her fans recognized her and asked for an autograph or a photo, Cheng Yi would, of course, welcome them with a smile and try her best to satisfy their requests. But if it was Fan Jian who came to hit on her, it would be strange if she treated him nicely. After all, Cheng Yi was the same as Su Shihan. They weren't ordinary celebrities. In the entire domestic entertainment industry, no one dared to give them any face, not to mention any unspoken rules. Fan Jian was slightly stunned. But his strongest skill was being thick-skinned. How could he be dismissed with just a sentence from a beauty? He flipped his hair and placed his elbows on the back of the chair. He used what he thought was the coolest pose and continued, "Beauty, do you know who I am? I'm from Beijing's Lu family." "You went to Beijing, don't tell me you don't know the name of the Lu family? In the whole of Beijing, there's no one more powerful than our Lu family." Of course, Fan Jian wasn't wrong. Whether it was in the political or business world, the Lu family had an important position. Coupled with their relationship with the Cultivators Association, it wasn't wrong to say that they were the strongest family in Beijing. It was a shame that Fan Jian wasn't hitting on a normal person this time. Lin Yi was quite impressed with the guy's eyesight, after all. He was just about to hit on the head of House Sun, Sun Jingyi, and now he was hitting on Cheng Yi, someone connected to the ancient house Feng. Each one of his targets was stronger than the last, but none of them were people Fan Jian could afford to mess with. Cheng Yi didn't even want to talk to Fan Jian this time. The words, "conduct yourself with dignity," had clearly expressed her intentions. So the bodyguards behind her had already come up to chase them away. "I told you to leave, did you hear me? Is Beijing's Lu family that powerful? Our young miss is from the ancient Feng family. I'll give you a chance for the sake of the Lu family, don't make me repeat myself." Cheng Yi's bodyguards were also transferred from the Feng family. Although the relationship between the Feng family and the Lu family was good, they would not give face to anyone who came under the banner of the Lu family, especially under the premise that the other party caused trouble first. Fan Jian immediately shriveled up. He knew about the ancient Feng family. Even Lu Tianyi of the Lu family wouldn't easily offend the Feng family. Not to mention, he was just using the tiger's skin as a flag. The Lu family wouldn't go against the Feng family because of him. On the contrary, if they found out that he had offended the Feng family, they might just kidnap him and bring him to beg for forgiveness. Unlike when he was facing Lin Yi, Fan Jian immediately believed Cheng Yi's identity. Perhaps he felt that Lin Yi's words were too unbelievable, but the aura of Cheng Yi's bodyguard was most likely real. "Ha ha ha, it's a misunderstanding. I just wanted to say hello, ha ha ha." Fan Jian explained with a dry laugh. He quickly returned to his seat and didn't dare to look at Cheng Yi again. When Lin Yi saw Cheng Yi, he naturally had to say hello. Fan Jian might be driven away, but he wouldn't be driven away. So when Fan Jian sat down, Lin Yi went to Cheng Yi's side. Cheng Yi's bodyguard hadn't left yet. When he saw Lin Yi coming over, he thought that it was another person coming to strike up a conversation. He immediately stood in front of Cheng Yi's seat and said coldly, "Didn't you hear that we are from the ancient Feng family? If you don't know what kind of existence the ancient Feng family is, I advise you to go back quickly." Lin Yi smiled faintly and said, "I'm looking for someone from the ancient Feng family. You can move aside now." The bodyguard was enraged. He thought that Lin Yi was purposely looking for trouble. He reached out and wanted to throw Lin Yi to the side. This bodyguard wasn't very strong. He was only at the late phase of the mystic class. Cheng Yi herself was a sky class full circle. She brought him along to block people and put up a front. After all, the truly powerful people from the ancient Feng family were all in closed-door cultivation, waiting for the island to open again. Lin Yi didn't care about the bodyguard's attack. There was no need. When Cheng Yi heard Lin Yi's voice, she immediately raised her head in surprise. "Brother Lin? Why is it you?" As she spoke, Cheng Yi threw away the magazine in her hand. She stood up and casually pushed her loyal bodyguard to the side. The bodyguard was quite depressed, but he quickly regained his composure. He didn't know Lin Yi, but that didn't mean he didn't know who Lin Yi was. There weren't many people who could make Cheng Yi so excited and respectful. There was probably only one person at this age with the surname Lin. After understanding this, the bodyguard's heart skipped a beat. He immediately bowed respectfully and took 2 steps back. He turned around and sat back in his seat. He didn't care about Cheng Yi anymore. Fan Jian, who was just about to watch a good show, was dumbfounded. Wasn't that bodyguard supposed to be very strong? Why did he retreat when he met this bragging king? Was he really from the ancient Feng family? Could it be that he was boasting as well? Fan Jian then looked at Cheng Yi's excited expression. It was completely different from her frosty expression from before. Fan Jian thought sourly, this pretty boy must be that beauty's old flame. That's why he's getting special treatment. This young master is so handsome. Which part of me can't compare to this bragging king? Why are these beauties blind to follow this pretty boy bragging king? He turned to look at Sun Jingyi. She didn't seem jealous at all. Fan Jian was even more depressed. But even so, he still didn't suspect that Lin Yi was Lin Yi. He still thought that Lin Yi was just a pretty boy bragging king. Cheng Yi was naturally very happy to see Lin Yi. She pulled Lin Yi to sit down without any hesitation. If the paparazzi were to take a picture of this scene, it would definitely be big news. It would be able to blow up the entire entertainment industry. One had to know that Cheng Yi's fame was second only to Su Shihan. She was a superstar, someone who could shake the entire entertainment industry with just a stomp of her foot. Lin Yi casually set up a sound barrier. In the common world, no one would be able to detect Lin Yi's barrier. Even if they could detect it, they wouldn't be able to break it. On Heaven Island, such a simple method was useless. Long time no see. Do you have a job in Beijing? Other than greeting Cheng Yi, Lin Yi actually wanted to ask about Su Shihan. But it would be too rude to ask about Su Shihan right away. He could only ask about Cheng Yi first. Chapter 5694. I just came back a few days ago, so I should be going back soon. Where are you going? Lin Yi continued to chat with Cheng Yi. The plane hadn't left yet, so they had plenty of time. I'm going to Europe for a concert, so I'll be changing planes in Beijing. Oh right, senior sister is also in Europe, and she's a guest of my concert. Big brother Lin, if you have time, do you want to go to Europe with me to watch my concert and meet my senior sister? She misses you a lot. Cheng Yi winked at Lin Yi mischievously. She knew that Lin Yi was also concerned about Su Shihan, so she said it directly. Lin Yi didn't know how to ask about Su Shihan, but Cheng Yi mentioned it herself. It saved him a lot of time. What a coincidence. Xiaobo, Fatty Lai, and I are also going to Europe, but I'll be staying in Beijing for a while. I'll go to the Lu family to see Lu Tianyi and the others first. If you can make it, you can wait for me, and we'll go to Europe together. Cheng Yi was Lin Yi's old acquaintance. It was a good thing to be able to travel together. Cheng Yi stretched her body and saw Kang Xiaobo, Lai Changyi, Sun Jingyi, and the others. She smiled and waved at them as a greeting. In fact, Cheng Yi and these people were very familiar with each other. After all, they had a common bond with Lin Yi, and Cheng Yi was a superstar. She had some business dealings with Miracle Dr. Guan's medical company and House Sun, so it was fine to just greet them like this. Kang Xiaobo and the others knew that Lin Yi wanted to talk to Cheng Yi, so they didn't disturb them. Seeing Cheng Yi waving, they smiled and nodded back. After returning, Cheng Yi continued to talk to Lin Yi. Xiaobo and the others are going to the medical exhibition? I've heard about it. Although my concert isn't in that city, it's not far. Big brother Lin, let's go to Europe together. Sure. As long as there's no problem with your schedule, it's fine. After all, you're a superstar, and you're different from an idler like me. Lin Yi smiled and nodded. Talking to Cheng Yi made him feel relaxed. Big brother Lin, you're making fun of me. What superstars? I'm afraid they're nothing in your eyes, right? Really, when the time comes, let senior sister be the judge. Cheng Yi coquettishly glanced at Lin Yi and joked with him. After chatting and laughing for a while, the plane was about to take off. Lin Yi then returned to his seat and sat with Sun Jingyi. After the plane stabilized, Ching-yi took the initiative to come over and talk to them. The journey wasn't lonely, and everyone was happy and harmonious. After landing in Yanjing, Lin Yi asked Kang Xiaobo to take everyone to find a hotel to settle down. He himself had to go to the Lu family. Firstly, he wanted to meet the Lu family and give Han Jingjing's family a message. Secondly, he wanted Lu Tianyi to pay attention to people like Fan Jian. It was normal for a big tree to have withered branches, but this kind of person should be disciplined. The group separated at the exit. Because Ching Yi had to wait for Lin Yi, she first followed Kang Xiaobo. This time, Lin Yi didn't even bring Languza with him. He went to the Lu family alone. He was just about to call a taxi when Fan Jian, who'd been following Lin Yi the whole time, came up to him. "Yo, Lin Yi, you're going to Yanjing's house Lu, aren't you? Is no one coming to pick you up? Why don't you come with me?" It was a pity that Sun Jingyi didn't come with Lin Yi. However, Fan Jian felt that it was the same to deal with Lin Yi first, and then deal with Sun Jingyi. Lin Yi glanced at Fan Jian and nodded. "That's good. Saves me the trouble of calling a taxi." Fan Jian looked at him with contempt. He thought to himself, "You don't even want to pay for a taxi. How dare you call yourself Lin Yi? Could Lin Yi take a taxi?" That was a godly person who could go to a higher level to cultivate. Did he know what a taxi looked like? A braggart. Just then, the car that the Lu family sent to pick up Fan Jian arrived. The driver got out and said to Fan Jian respectfully, "Young Master Fan, there was a traffic jam on the road. I'm sorry I'm late." Fan Jian immediately felt proud. He waved his hand and said, "It's fine. Who doesn't know about the traffic in Yanjing? You came at the right time. You didn't delay anything. Let's go." The driver was a new servant hired by the Lu family in the past 2 years, so he was very respectful to Fan Jian. Although he found it strange that Fan Jian's teeth were missing, he didn't dare to ask. He opened the door and invited Fan Jian to get in. Then, he put his luggage in the trunk and got in the car to go back to the Lu family. As for Lin Yi, he, of course, didn't know who he was. He just assumed that Lin Yi was following Fan Jian, and didn't ask too many questions. He'd just pull Lin Yi into the car, as long as Fan Jian didn't object. Fan Jian had an evil plan in his mind. He would have a good time after arriving at the Lu family, so he didn't pay much attention to Lin Yi on the way. Lin Yi was also happy to have some peace and quiet. The car was spacious enough. Fan Jian and his 2 bodyguards didn't come to provoke him, so he didn't care about it. On the way, Fan Jian finally remembered that he looked unsightly without his teeth, so he got a pair of dentures and put them on. It was a little delay, but Lin Yi didn't mind. He waited for him to go to the Lu family. After arriving at the Lu family, they were taken into the living room, but no one came to greet them. They just said that young Master Lu would come to see them later. After the servant of the Lu family served tea and left, Fan Jian said awkwardly, "The Lu family is really busy. It can't be helped. The business is too big, and they have to make decisions. They really don't have the time." Previously, Fan Jian had boasted as if the Lu family couldn't do without him. Now that he was treated so coldly, no matter how thick-skinned he was really embarrassed. Lin Yi pretended that he didn't hear him. He picked up the teacup and sipped slowly. Anyway, the plane to Europe was tomorrow morning, so he had plenty of time. Since he had nothing to do, it would be interesting to see how Fan Jian would deal with this. After Fan Jian explained himself, he saw that Lin Yi didn't respond, so he stopped talking and imitated Lin Yi to drink tea slowly. In the end, after drinking 4 or 5 cups of tea and going to the bathroom twice, no one from the Lu family came out. Fan Jian really couldn't sit still anymore. Just when he was about to ask the servant of the Lu family, a young man with a cold expression finally came to see Fan Jian. Chapter 5695. Young Master Lu lowered his eyes and said indifferently, "It's what I should do." Do you have something to do this time? If you don't have anything to do, feel free to take a seat. I still have something to do, so I'll go in first. The smile on Fan Jian's face suddenly froze. Did you really just want to come out and show your face? You don't even want to say a few words? Do you have to be like this? We are relatives, young Master Lu. My enemy is still watching. Can't you at least give me some face? Young Master Lu, I really have something to do this time. Please stay. Fan Jian had no choice but to bite the bullet and ask young Master Lu to stay. If young Master Lu really went in like this, then Fan Jian would be embarrassed to death. However, what Fan Jian didn't expect was that before he finished speaking, Lin Yi, who was next to him, said after being stunned for a moment, Han Xiao Xiao. Young Master Lu's eyes, which had been lowered, suddenly opened, and a trace of excitement appeared on his calm face. Brother-in-law? You're back. Is my sister back? Han Xiaoqiao's eyes focused on Lin Yi's face, and he immediately walked a few steps forward and asked excitedly. In the past, Han Xiaoqiao, and now young Master Lu, both had the image of an autistic nerd in front of others, but at this moment, that feeling was completely gone. Obviously, Han Jingjing occupied a very important position in his brother's heart. Otherwise, he wouldn't have asked about Han Jingjing as soon as he opened his mouth. Lin Yi smiled and shook his head. No, your sister is still in that place. But you also know how smart and talented your sister is. I believe it won't be long before she comes back to see you. Han Xiaoqiao, who was now called Lu Xiaoqiao, after hearing Lin Yi's words, a trace of disappointment flashed in his eyes, but he immediately smiled and nodded. Brother-in-law, you're right. My sister is so smart, she will definitely find a way to come back. Besides, brother-in-law, if you can come back, my sister will definitely come back next time, right? Lin Yi didn't explain his current state. Anyway, Lu Xiaoqiao cared about Han Jingjing, so it was fine as long as he gave him this hope. After nodding affirmatively, Lu Xiaoqiao smiled quite happily, but Fan Jian, who was next to him, was completely dumbfounded. What was going on? Is Lin Yi really Lin Yi? Fan Jian felt like crying. Who the hell would be stupid enough to use someone else's name to threaten them, and not believe that they were real? This blunder was really big. Seeing Lu Xiaoqiao and Lin Yi talking and laughing, and then thinking about how indifferent Lu Xiaoqiao was to him just now, Fan Jian thought that he should just hurry up and die. Lu Xiaoqiao asked about Han Jingjing's current situation, and Lin Yi told him some of the important things. Knowing that Han Jingjing was living safely in Hualanju, continuing to work on her favorite inventions, Lu Xiaoqiao had a relieved smile on his face. It was as if Han Jingjing wasn't his sister, but an elder. Fan Jian stood to the side, not daring to get too close. He didn't want Lu Xiaoqiao to think he was eavesdropping on their conversation. All he could do was sneak a peek at the two of them talking. When it was almost over, he ran over and apologized to Lin Yi. Lu Xiaoqiao asked curiously, brother-in-law, what's going on? Didn't you come with him? What is he doing? Lin Yi smiled faintly and said, it's not a big deal. It's just that this guy called Fan Jian is a bit of a b*tch. He's using your Lu family's name to show off, and he even used my name to threaten me. It's quite funny. What's your relationship with him? Fan Jian's face paled in an instant. He trembled as he stood to the side, not daring to move an inch. He had been complaining about the Lu family for ignoring him, but now he could only hope that Lu Xiaoqiao would forget about him. Lu Xiaoqiao glared at Fan Jian. Lin Yi might have said it lightly, but Lu Xiaoqiao wasn't an idiot. He had a general idea of what was going on. Brother-in-law, you don't have to be angry with this kind of person. This guy is my sister's cousin, and we are not directly related by blood. Because his family has declined, he came to our Lu family for help. We have been helping him because of my sister's reputation. I didn't expect him to do such a thing outside. Lu Xiaoqiao's words were filled with disdain towards Fan Jian. This kind of guy was not worthy of Lu Xiaoqiao's attention. Fan Jian's face paled even more. Just as Lu Xiaoqiao had said, he was not related by blood to House Lu. He was only Han Jingjing's cousin. When he said that Lu Tianyi was his uncle, he was just trying to make himself look good. In reality, only Lu Tianli was his uncle. The rest of House Lu was only because of Han Jingjing. If Fan Jian had worked hard and managed to get the Lu family's help, he might have been able to get the Lu family's approval. Unfortunately, this guy was completely useless. Other than borrowing the Lu family's name to intimidate others, he also used the Lu family's financial support to indulge in debauchery. On the surface, he came to the Lu family to thank them, but in reality, he was here to ask for money. It would be strange if Lu Xiaoqiao gave him a good look. House Lu was a big family, but they didn't want to keep a parasite like this. If it wasn't for Han Jingjing, they would have cut off all contact with Fan Jian a long time ago. Lu Xiaoqiao and Lin Yi's reunion was supposed to be a happy thing, but when he saw Fan Jian, he felt disgusted. He waved his hand as if he was swatting a fly. Fan Jian, leave first. Don't come to our house if you don't have anything to do. Also, for my sister's sake, I'll take responsibility for this matter with my brother-in-law. If I find out that you dare to use House Lu's name to swindle people, I won't let you go. Don't say that I didn't give you face. Leave. Fan Jian's forehead was dripping with sweat, but he didn't dare to refute. He could only leave with his 2 bodyguards. After Fan Jian left, Lu Xiaoqiao said apologetically, "Brother-in-law, I made the decision on my own. Please don't take it to heart." Lin Yi smiled and said, "It's okay. You did a good job. Just like you said, for your sister's sake, I won't argue with people like Fan Jian. But seeing that you have become more mature and decisive, I'm very happy. Your sister will be happy too." Lu Xiaoqiao smiled shyly, then patted his forehead and said, "Look at me. I was so happy that I forgot to inform their brother-in-law that he's back." Chapter 5696. Then, it was Lu Tianyi and Lu Tianli's turn to rush back after receiving Lu Xiaoqiao's notice. For House Lu, nothing was more important than Lin Yi. Since Lin Yi was back, they had to put aside all the important things and come see Lin Yi first. It wasn't even half an hour before the 3 most important people of the Lius came back one after the other, chatting with Lin Yi about what had happened after their separation. Lin Yi couldn't help but tell them about Han Jingjing's situation. Knowing that Han Jingjing was doing well on Sky Tier Island, House Lu was also very happy. Lu Tianli had also pulled himself together, and although he still felt a little guilty when facing Lin Yi, he was completely different from before. This made Lin Yi feel a lot more at ease. Lin Yi stayed the night under the enthusiastic invitation of House Lu. The next morning, House Lu sent Lin Yi to the airport together and greeted Sun Jingyi, Kang Xiaobo, and the others. They were all familiar with each other, and Lu Tianyi even complained that they didn't come to visit House Lu when they were in Yanjing. But he knew that Lin Yi wanted to come to House Lu alone to talk about Han Jingjing, which was why he didn't bring them. Naturally, he wouldn't be angry. It was time to board the plane, and after another round of goodbyes, everyone agreed to meet up again. Lin Yi brought the group to Europe to participate in the medicine exhibition, preparing to investigate the mysterious sacred alliance that had risen to power. The plane landed at Milva's Kelly International Airport. This was the place where the medicine exhibition would be held. Cheng Yi's concert would be held in Bernini, and it wouldn't take too long to get there by car. "Bro Lin, I'll be singing in Burnett this time. I'll be going to Rami in 3 days, and then Madoko in 3 days, followed by Barini and Lenton. Are you going to watch the first show, or are you going to watch every show?" Cheng Yi's eyes curved into 2 crescent moons, but she set up a trap when she spoke. If Lin Yi said he would come for the first show, then of course he would come for the rest. As for the choice to come for every show, that was even more straightforward. Unfortunately, Lin Yi didn't fall for it. He only smiled. "That's hard to say, but I will definitely come to your concert." Su Shihan would always be a guest for Cheng Yi, so he didn't have to worry about not being able to see her. Right now, the most important thing was to take care of the medicine exhibition in Milva and the Sacred Alliance. Cheng Yi laughed and hugged Lin Yi. As long as Lin Yi could come to her concert, it would be good enough. Of course, she wouldn't really expect Lin Yi to come for every show. She turned around and said goodbye to Jingyi and the others one by one before getting into the SUV that came to pick her up and leaving the airport first. Kang Xiaobo looked at the MPV driving away and sighed. Now that Su Shihan and Cheng Yi have become famous internationally, they are two international superstars. If we have time, we should all go and support them. I just don't know if there will be any tickets. Lai Changyi laughed. With boss there, why would there be any need for tickets? Didn't you see that Cheng Yi invited boss to the concert and didn't even give him a ticket? Our boss can just show his face. Lin Yi pretended to be angry. Fatty Lai, you've got some guts now. You dare to make fun of me. I don't dare, boss. Lai Changyi raised his hands and surrendered. Everyone laughed. Lin Yi felt relaxed when he was with his old friends. Ever since he went to Sky Island, it seemed like everything was smooth sailing. But in reality, it was difficult and dangerous. He had walked on the edge of life and death countless times. Only Lin Yi knew how much pressure he had to bear. While they were talking and laughing, the people arranged by Miracle Dr. Guan's medical company arrived. Everyone got in the car and went to the hotel to settle down. Kang Xiaobo and Lai Changyi went to the exhibition venue to register and arrange the display. Of course, Kang Xiaobo and Lai Changyi wouldn't trouble Lin Yi with these trivial matters. Lin Yi saw that he had nothing else to do, so he brought Sun Jingyi and Languza out for a stroll. Milva was a beautiful city, and Milva Lake had beautiful scenery. It was rare for them to come here, so they treated it as a vacation. Sun Jingyi felt that it was a blessing to be able to stroll around with Lin Yi in a foreign country. If Languza wasn't around, and it was just her and Lin Yi, it would be even more perfect. He'd been planning on looking for clues about the Sacred Alliance at first, but he'd let it go after a while. They were just some clowns, after all, and it wouldn't be too late to deal with them when they showed themselves. He'd just have to spend some time with Jingyi for now. The three of them wandered around Milva as they pleased. Languza did not stop eating at all. Although Switzerland's delicacies were not to his liking as Chinese delicacies, it was still quite refreshing for him to try it for the first time. After all, as a qualified foodie, he would not reject any delicacies that he had not tried before. When Lin Yi and the other two returned to the hotel, the sky was already dark. Kang Xiaobo and Lai Changyi were waiting in Lin Yi's room. Their faces didn't look too good. What happened? Did the people from the Sacred Alliance come looking for trouble? Lin Yi smiled faintly. Although he was wholeheartedly accompanying Sun Jingyi and didn't use his divine sense to monitor the whole of Milva, he could guess it from their faces. Boss, you guessed right. The people from the Sacred Alliance came looking for trouble. Kang Xiaobo nodded and said, but among the people from the Sacred Alliance, there was actually a heaven rank expert and 2 earth rank experts. They didn't say anything and just wanted to smash our booth. If it wasn't for me and Lai Changyi, no one would be able to stop them. Lin Yi was startled and said, heaven rank expert? Are they Chinese? No, they are pure-blooded Europeans, but they are indeed cultivators. And they are masters of inner force. Lai Changyi continued, and at the same time, his expression was a little solemn. We don't need to worry about these people from the Sacred Alliance. After all, their strength isn't enough to threaten me and Xiaobo. But the attitude of the organizer of the exhibition is somewhat infuriating. Chapter 5697. Lin Yi smiled coldly. Shouldn't they be responsible for the safety of the trade fair be the responsibility of the organizers? How dare they threaten you? If they can't do it, I'll just let them end the exhibition early. Boss, I'm good at this. Are you going to give me the mission? Languza jumped out and asked excitedly. Ever since he came to the secular world, Languza only had 3 hobbies: trendy clothes, good food, and fighting. Hearing Lin Yi's tone, it seemed like there was going to be a fight. Lenguza, who had just eaten his fill, was naturally full of energy. You're getting excited again. Go to the side, there will be a time for you to fight. Lin Yi laughed and scolded. He turned around and said, it's not important that the Sacred Alliance has practitioners. What's important is that these Europeans have our cultivation system. From what I know, it wasn't like this in the past. It seems like there is indeed something strange going on in the Sacred Alliance. We need to uncover their secrets. Lin Yi wasn't lying. When he went on missions with the names Ling Yi and Ing, he'd come into contact with a lot of Westerners. It wasn't that there weren't any masters in the Westerners, but the training system they used was based on physical training. Although Lin Yi was only a golden class at that time, he wouldn't be wrong about the basics. At the same time, in the secret base of the Sacred Alliance in Milva that Lin Yi and the others were talking about, a mysterious man wearing a bamboo hat was listening to the report of his subordinates. They were the European practitioners that were chased away by Kang Xiaobo and Lai Changyi. You said that the Miracle Dr. Guan medical group still refused to cooperate and even defeated all of you? The mysterious man with glasses said in a low voice. He obviously couldn't believe it. With the lineup he sent out, 1 Heaven class, 2 Earth class, and some Mystic class practitioners, how could they not be able to deal with a mere Miracle Dr. Guan medical group? The European leader of the Heaven class lowered his head and said, yes, although there were only 2 of them, they were shockingly strong. They are definitely beyond the Heaven class. They should be masters in the foundation building stage. Foundational stage. How could there be a foundation establishment stage master here? And those 2 are the co-directors of Miracle Dr. Guan's medical company. Are you kidding me? The bespectacled man said very unhappily. Obviously, he did not believe that Kang Xiaobo and the others would be masters of the foundation building stage. Forget it, let's not talk about this for now. But the special edition Golden Sour Medicines formula from Miracle Dr. Guan Medical Group is something we must get. Only by combining this formula with our medicine can we proceed to the next step of research. So, you have to think of a way to lure Kang Xiaobo and Lai Changyi away and attack the other people from Miracle Dr. Guan Medical Group. That way, we will have a higher chance of success. The man in glasses said calmly. It was obvious that he was determined to get the special edition Golden Sour Medicines formula. At this time, someone suddenly said, what did you say those 2 people were called? Kang Xiaobo and Lai Changyi? I know these 2 people. They are Lin Yi's underlings. Back then, they didn't follow Lin Yi to the ancient small Jianghu. Instead, they returned to the common world. They are just 2 foundation establishment stage masters. I will deal with them. The person who spoke was actually Xue Jianfeng, who was electrocuted by Lin Yi. This guy was indeed an undying cockroach. After being electrocuted by Lin Yi, the flying saucer that he used to escape was shot down by the sea beast and fell into the endless sea. Even so, he was still alive. His vitality was indeed shocking. There was another person beside Xue Jianfeng. It was Chen Dongsheng, who carried Xue Jianfeng and escaped together. After these 2 guys fell into the endless sea, they were saved by the reinforcements from the center. Then, they followed the people from the center to leave the ancient small Jianghu and return to the common world to stir up trouble. With these 2 people present, the origin of the Holy Alliance was clear. It was a puppet force that the Holy Alliance had supported in the European region of the secular world. They wanted to use it as a springboard to control the whole of Europe for the Holy Alliance. After Xue Jianfeng finished speaking, he was very excited in his heart. He couldn't beat Lin Yi, but these 2 underlings of Lin Yi were merely ants at the foundation establishment stage. He could crush them with a wave of his hand. Using them to vent his anger and make Lin Yi's heart ache at the same time was the most suitable. The man with glasses glanced at Xue Jianfeng and nodded slightly. All right. Although it is a bit overkill to let you deal with them, as long as we can get what we want, it is worth it. In the ancient small Jianghu, the center was already able to create strong people at the profound ascension stage. However, after Lin Yi messed around, a lot of information was destroyed. Moreover, without the environment and resources of the ancient small Jianghu, everything in the common world was equivalent to starting all over again. The special edition of the Golden Sore medicine from the Miracle Dr. Guan Medical Group was related to one of the important research. Therefore, the man with glasses didn't hesitate to use Shui Jianfeng, this super trump card. Shui Jianfeng shook his head at Qin Dongqing and said, "Old Qin, let's go out for a walk. Take it as a way to relax. There aren't many opportunities to bully that bastard Lin Yi's underlings. It just so happens that there are two of them. Let's take one each. Is that good?" Qin Dongqing laughed and said, "That's good too. It's been too long since I've exercised my muscles. It's time to go out for a walk." The man with glasses didn't object to this. So far, only Shui Jianfeng and Lai Changyi could go out. After all, the opponent was a master at the foundation establishment stage. Big Brother Feng, who was standing at the door, was a little anxious. He wanted to inform Kang Xiaobo and Lai Changyi, but unfortunately, he couldn't get away. He could only continue to stand there expressionlessly, praying that these two underlings of Lin Yi could avoid Shui Jianfeng and Lai Changyi first. Shui Jianfeng and Qin Dongqing didn't know what Big Brother Feng was thinking. When they passed by, they smiled and nodded at Big Brother Feng. Big Brother Feng could only force a smile and wish them success. The two didn't go to the exhibition venue. Instead, they went directly to the hotel where Kang Xiaobo and Lai Changyi were staying. At the front desk, they asked for the room number of Kang Xiaobo and Lai Changyi and went straight upstairs to find them. After reaching the floor, Shui Jianfeng scanned with his divine sense and found that Kang Xiaobo and Lai Changyi happened to be drinking together. He immediately smiled and said to Qin Dongqing, "Good luck. Both of them are in the same room. It saves us the trouble of catching them one by one." Qin Dongqing frowned slightly and said, "Did we miss something? Why do I feel a little weird?" Chapter 5698. In fact, Lin Yi and the others were also on the same floor. After talking about what happened at the exhibition, Kang Xiaobo and Lai Changyi left Lin Yi's presidential suite and came to their side to discuss the follow-up countermeasures. The reason why Shui Jianfeng and Lai Changyi couldn't see Lin Yi, Languza, and Sun Jingyi was that Lin Yi's spiritual sense was too strong. When he felt other spiritual sense sweeping over, he naturally shielded it. Shui Jianfeng's strength was indeed at the early stage of profound ascension, but he was forcibly promoted because of the potions in the center. The mainstream of the ancient small world was the cultivation of spiritual sense. Unfortunately, Shui Jianfeng's strength improved too fast, and his spiritual sense couldn't keep up with the progress. Speaking of which, the strength of his spiritual sense had just reached the early stage of yuanying, which was already a very fast improvement. However, in front of Lin Yi, it was completely not enough. If he wanted to find the three people in Lin Yi's room, he still needed to walk a long way. After listening to Shui Jianfeng's words, Qin Dongqing felt that it was reasonable. Maybe he really thought too much, so he smiled and shook his head. When he came to the door of Kang Xiaobo's room, he reached out and pressed on the lock. He exhaled and directly shattered the built-in steel lock. To an early-stage mysterious ascension expert, wanting to collapse an entire building was as easy as flipping his hand. A mere steel lock was indeed not much of an obstacle. After pushing the door open, Shui Jianfeng laughed and said, "Kang Xiaobo, Lai Changyi, the time of your death has come. Hurry up and kneel down to die. This young master can be especially merciful and leave both of you an intact corpse." Kang Xiaobo and Lai Changyi held a wine glass in their hands and looked at Shui Jianfeng, who was walking slowly, and Qin Dongqing, who was closing the door. After the two looked at each other, they slowly calmed down. Kang Xiaobo then said, "Shui Jianfeng? Why are you here?" Shui Jianfeng was originally very satisfied with the expressions on Kang Xiaobo and Lai Changyi's faces. What he loved the most was to see others panicking in front of him. Unfortunately, Kang Xiaobo and Lai Changyi only panicked for a moment before regaining their composure. This made Xue Jianfeng rather dissatisfied. Hence, he sneered and said, "What? Very surprised to see me? Now that your boss isn't here, aren't you feeling very flustered? Don't worry, you don't have to pretend to be calm. In any case, when I kill you later, you will still cry and scream." Kang Xiaobo laughed and said, "Xue Jianfeng, cut the crap. Do you think that you can defeat the two of us just because you brought one person? Isn't he a little too arrogant?" Kang Xiaobo was so confident because Lin Yi was right next door. He and Lai Changyi already had a blind worship mentality towards Lin Yi. As long as Lin Yi was around, there was never a problem that couldn't be solved. Xue Jianfeng immediately laughed out loud. He pointed at Kang Xiaobo and Lai Changyi and said, "Just based on you two trash, do you need this young master to bring people to deal with you? What a joke. This young master can crush you 2 ants with 1 finger. Old Chen can crush you 2 ants again with another finger. I've already said, hurry up and kneel down to accept your death, and I'll leave your corpses intact." Thinking of what he said before coming out, Xue Jianfeng turned his head and said to Chen Dongqing indifferently, "Old Chen, just now we said 1 for each. Come, I'll let you pick one first. These 2 fools still think that they are so awesome. Let's let them have a good taste of what true awesomeness is." Chen Dongqing had some inexplicable uneasiness in his heart. He stood by the door and shook his head, saying, "Forget it. I'll leave these 2 small shrimps to you. Anyway, I don't know them. It's more interesting for you to deal with them." "Oh. You gave up the opportunity yourself. Don't say that I didn't take care of you later. This kind of fun is hard to come by. Forget it if you don't want it." Xue Jianfeng didn't mind and said with a sneer. From Xue Jianfeng's point of view, he was completely in control of Kang Xiaobo and Lai Changyi. What was left was to find some fun on the 2 of them. The reason why he didn't take them down immediately was to let them rise up and resist. He was very clear that beating people from hope to despair was the true joy. However, Kang Xiaobo and Lai Changyi didn't have the intention to escape, nor did they show any signs of resistance. They were still sitting on the sofa as usual. They even raised their cups to each other, indicating that they should have a cup together. Xue Jianfeng was furious. Is this how people who are threatened should behave? If I don't show my power, you're really treating a tiger as a cat. Xue Jianfeng, who wanted to show his power, waved his hand and the sofa that the 2 of them were sitting on turned into ice shards. Fortunately, Kang Xiaobo and Lai Changyi reacted fast enough and stood up. Otherwise, they would have sat on the ice shards on the floor. "Ha ha ha, are you afraid? If I want to kill you, it's just a matter of waving my hand. Why don't you beg for mercy?" Xue Jianfeng laughed proudly, but Kang Xiaobo and Lai Changyi were still calm. Even their eyes looked like they were watching a clown's performance. This made Xue Jianfeng very uncomfortable. Chen Dongqing couldn't stand it anymore. They came mainly for the formula of the Miracle Dr. Guan Medical Group. After getting the formula, it wasn't a big deal to get rid of the 2 underlings of Lin Yi. Now that Xue Jianfeng was showing off, they didn't even put him in their eyes. This made Chen Dongqing feel more and more uneasy. "You too, if you want to live, hurry up and hand over the formula of the Miracle Dr. Guan Medical Group. Otherwise, I'll let you know what it means to beg for death." Chen Dongqing was afraid that Xue Jianfeng would continue to say something unimportant, so he quickly asked. Xue Jianfeng also felt bored and said embarrassedly, "That's right, hurry up and hand over the formula. Otherwise, you'll regret it. At that time, you won't even have the chance to beg me to kill you." Lai Changyi chuckled, "Xue Jianfeng, aren't you afraid that our boss will find you for revenge? What's there to be afraid of? I'm a super master of the profound ascension stage. Why would I be afraid of him? Stop joking around. If he dares to appear before this young master, see if this young master will." Xue Jianfeng said loudly. Actually, he was putting on a brave front to hide his guilty conscience. However, before he could finish speaking, he was interrupted by a loud explosion. The door that Chen Dongqing had just closed was kicked open by someone. Even Chen Dongqing, who was standing by the door, was knocked away by the door. Shui Jianfeng turned around angrily and said, "Who is it? How dare you kick the door open? Do you want to die?" Chapter 5699. Shui Jianfeng, you're not dead yet? Did you come here to court death? I'm in front of you now. What are you going to do? Lin Yi walked in with a sneer. Languza followed behind him excitedly. He knew these two guys too. Languza's genes were still in this guy's body. Today was the perfect day to settle the score. Shui Jianfeng trembled and cried out in disbelief, "Lin Yi? You really shouldn't talk behind someone's back. You mentioned Lin Yi and Lin Yi arrived." Shui Jianfeng wanted to slap himself a few times. What a jinx. Lin Yi smiled faintly. "Shui Jianfeng, you're quite something, aren't you? Everywhere you go, you're busy showing off. Some people used to call me the pretentious boss, but I think that title suits you better. Plus, every time you show off, you run right to me. I really have to admire you." Chen Dongqing had long been scared out of his wits. No wonder he felt uneasy after entering the hotel. It was because of Lin Yi, this fiend, here. Chen Dongqing was considered a defector from the Green Cloud sect in the North Island. He didn't have much confidence in facing Lin Yi. Lin Yi's performance at the distant ancient meeting made him even more fearful. At this moment, he couldn't say a word. He was only thinking about how to escape from Lin Yi's hands. Shui Jianfeng rubbed his eyes hard and opened his eyes wide to take a closer look. Yes, it was Lin Yi. Shui Jianfeng's nightmare. No matter how he improved his strength or how fast he broke through, Lin Yi was like a huge mountain, always pressing on his head. No matter what, he couldn't turn the situation around. At this moment, Shui Jianfeng thought of a secular saying, "Don't act pretentious. If you act pretentious, you'll be struck by lightning." Lin Yi, this bastard, liked to strike people with lightning. Although he wasn't wearing the alloy armor this time, he would probably be better off wearing the armor when he was struck by lightning. Shui Jianfeng was also a bachelor. He knew that he wasn't Lin Yi's opponent, so he directly knelt down in front of Lin Yi. He even had a flattering smile on his face as he said, "Ha ha ha, Senior Lin Yi. It's really you. I was just about to say that if you appeared in front of me, I would immediately kneel down and pay my respects to you. Actually, we heard that you were staying here today, so we specially came with old Chen to pay our respects to you. I didn't have time to prepare any gifts in such a hurry. How rude of me." As he spoke, Shui Jianfeng secretly gestured to the dazed Chen Dongqing. How could this idiot be so stupid? Can't you see that this young master has already knelt down? Don't you know that a wise man doesn't fight when the odds are against him? Saving your life is the most important thing. Chen Dongqing saw Shui Jianfeng's gesture, but his first reaction was to despise Shui Jianfeng. This spineless thing, kneeling down as soon as he saw Lin Yi. Just now, he talked nonsense for half a day, and now he said such nonsense. Even a ghost wouldn't believe it, right? Besides, no matter what, they were two masters of the mysterious ascending stage. Didn't they even have the courage to fight with their lives? He also didn't know who Languza was in human form. Otherwise, he would never have the courage to fight with his life. Not to mention Lin Yi, facing Languza alone, the two of them didn't even have the qualifications to fight with their lives. If they made a move, it would be completely suicidal. Lin Yi glanced at Chen Dongqing with a smile that didn't seem like a smile. He also had a deep impression of this Jadian sect's former vice sect master. The last time he came to cause trouble in the immemorial grand meeting, Chen Dongqing ran away with Shui Jianfeng in the end. Now that he had delivered himself to his doorstep, shouldn't he just take care of him? Chen Dongqing was glanced at by Lin Yi's eyes. He actually felt a chill all over his body. After shivering for a while, he immediately knelt down. As for the thought of despising Shui Jianfeng just now, it was completely thrown to the back of his mind. Other people were other people, but when it came to himself, the standard was naturally completely different. Martial Uncle Lin, this time disciple specially came to ask for forgiveness from Martial Uncle Lin. Since leaving Jadian sect, disciple has always wanted to return to Jadian sect. Unfortunately, disciple knows that disciple's sins are grave, and really dare not, and also have no face to go back to see you. I heard that you also came to this hotel to stay. Disciple finally mustered up the courage to come and ask for forgiveness from Martial Uncle Lin. I ask Martial Uncle Lin to give face to the ancestors of Jadian's sect and accept disciple back into the sect. Disciple is willing to accept the sect's punishment. In a moment of desperation, Chen Dongqing actually said a long paragraph in one breath, and in the end, he almost moved himself. As for the matter of him, Chen Dongqing threatening Kang Xiaobo and Lai Changyi to hand over the formula, he seemed to have completely forgotten about it. In his heart, he was also constantly hypnotizing himself. Did such a thing happen before? No, right? Did it? No, right. Well, actually these were not important. The important thing was to let Lin Yi believe what he said now. Thinking about it carefully, if this could be successful, it would not be a bad thing. Today, Jadian's sect was already the head of the 4 big sects, and the entire ancient pugilistic world completely followed Jadian sect's lead. And Chen Dongqing's strength was at the early stage of mysterious ascension, so he could properly be a grand elder, and also have a noble status. More importantly, Chen Dongqing was very clear that there was no central power in the ancient pugilistic world. Judging from Bing Wuqing's situation, Lin Yi could also remove the poison that was implanted in his body. As long as Chen Dongqing could be accepted by Lin Yi, and return to the ancient pugilistic world, he would still be the small group of people at the top. Lin Yi was stunned. Obviously he did not expect Chen Dongqing to say this. But from Chen Dongqing's words, it seemed that this guy really had some sincerity. Of course, he would not believe Chen Dongqing immediately. After all, Chen Dongqing was just threatening people just now, and now he was just trying to escape. There was no need to rush to a conclusion on this matter. Xue Jianfeng squinted at Chen Dongqing and despised him in his heart. This Chen Dongqing usually scolded Lin Yi in front of him, but now he was calling him Grand Uncle Master so intimately, and even wanted to hug Lin Yi's thigh. How shameless. Speaking of which, why wasn't this bastard Lin Yi the Snow Sword Sect's Grand Uncle Master? Otherwise, Xue Jianfeng, would be able to hug his thigh too. Lin Yi did not know what these two were thinking. He was most concerned about the Sacred Alliance's background, so he waved his hand and said, "Stop talking nonsense, tell me, are you here on behalf of the Sacred Alliance? What is the relationship between this organization and the center? What is the purpose of targeting the formula of Miracle Dr. Guan Medical Group?" Chapter 5700. In front of Xue Jianfeng, Chen Dongqing would never do something like betraying the center. Only by holding Xue Jianfeng's weakness would Chen Dongqing reveal everything he knew to Lin Yi without hesitation. "What are you looking at? Boss is asking you a question. Do you believe that I will kill you immediately if you don't tell me the truth?" Languza glared and threatened loudly. He really wanted to kill these two fellows. As long as they were from the center, Languza didn't have a good impression of them. Chen Dongqing hurriedly said, "Martial Uncle, this disciple was only recruited by the center to be a hired thug. I don't know anything important. Xue Jianfeng should know more about this than this disciple. After all, he is the leader of all the cultivators who joined later." Lin Yi turned to look at Xue Jianfeng and said with a faint smile, "It seems that you are really awesome. You already have an important position in the center." Xue Jianfeng was filled with hatred. He knew that Chen Dongqing didn't dare to betray the center, but pushed him out to be roasted. However, with Lin Yi staring at him, he didn't dare to make any strange movements. "Senior Lin, you must be joking. In fact, this junior is just an errand boy in the center. What position do I have?" Xue Jianfeng's mind was racing. He smiled and said, "We don't know anything about the Sacred Alliance. Today, we are here to pay a visit to Senior Lin. We don't mean to represent anyone, it seems that you really want to die. Lin Yi nodded seriously and raised his palm at Xue Jianfeng. Xue Jianfeng was shocked. He knew that his words couldn't win Lin Yi's trust. However, even he wouldn't believe what he said, let alone Lin Yi. Lin Yi probably heard everything that happened in the room from outside. Therefore, there was no need to ask Kong Xiaobo and the rest. Senior Lin, I suddenly remembered that I've heard of the Holy Alliance before. I seem to have heard of it in the center by chance. It said that after they retreated from the small Jianghu in the ancient times, they re-established a force in the secular world. Their main area of activity is in Europe, and they may develop to the Americas in the future. If that's the case, it seems like the two of us are really representing the Sacred Alliance this time. We're not even sure ourselves. Xue Jianfeng pretended to have a look of sudden realization. He seemed to have a natural talent for acting. If that's the case, you should have heard some rumors about why the center is targeting Miracle Dr. Guan's company, right? For example, what do you need Miracle Dr. Guan's formula for? Lin Yi retracted his hand and asked casually. Xue Jianfeng wiped off the cold sweat on his forehead. He thought to himself that the information he gave out wasn't classified, so it shouldn't be a problem. Furthermore, compared to his own life, even if it was classified, it didn't seem like he couldn't reveal it. Senior Lin, you think too highly of me. I really haven't heard about this before. Xue Jianfeng wasn't willing to reveal more information to Lin Yi easily, so he said while sneaking glances at Lin Yi's reaction. Seeing that Lin Yi was about to raise his hand again, he quickly continued, but I do have some personal speculations. Senior Lin, why don't you listen to them and use them as a reference? Languza glared at him again, so much bullsh***. If you don't make it quick, I'll beat you up. Xue Jianfeng thought to himself, you're just a small fry who uses the tiger's might, what are you so proud of? You want to beat me up? If it wasn't for Lin Yi, I would have taken care of you long ago. This was also the reason why Languza didn't reveal his aura. If Xue Jianfeng knew Languza's true strength, he wouldn't have any thoughts of getting lucky. It's like this. Although I haven't heard why the center asked the Sacred Alliance to find trouble with Miracle Dr. Guan's medical group, and I don't know why they want the formula from Miracle Dr. Guan's medical group. However, the center has always been researching different types of medicine. Senior Lin, you should know about this. So, I'm guessing that maybe the center is interested in something from Miracle Dr. Guan's medical group. This might be related to the center's research on medicine. Senior Lin, you must be careful. What Xue Jianfeng said was actually the truth. He just changed his words so that he could have an excuse to deceive himself. Lin Yi frowned slightly. He didn't understand what the center was doing. Xue Jianfeng's words didn't sound fake. Could it be that the center was interested in one of the formulas from Miracle Dr. Guan's medical group? But these formulas were only useful in the common world. Before entering Heaven Tier Island, these formulas were still valuable. After Heaven Tier Island was opened, there would be more high-level pills and formulas that were better than Miracle Dr. Guan's products in the common world. The center originally had a way to connect the two places, so they shouldn't be eyeing these things. Actually, Lin Yi was wrong. The pills and formulas from Heaven Tier Island were indeed better than those from Miracle Dr. Guan's medical group, but the problem was that it was built on higher difficulty and higher quality materials. In terms of the same level, Lin Yi's formulas were definitely the best in Miracle Dr. Guan's medical group. This time, what the center needed was to steadily improve from the foundation. It would be strange if they didn't look for Miracle Dr. Guan's medical group. Just as he was thinking about it, the hotel staff rushed over. Lin Yi's action of kicking the door had already triggered the alarm in the hotel. This floor was filled with the most distinguished guests, so the hotel staff didn't dare to neglect them. So, they came to deal with it immediately. Seeing that the people from the hotel were about to enter, Xue Jianfeng gave Chen Dongqing a meaningful look and then took the lead to stand up and say, Senior Lin, there is still a misunderstanding in today's matter. Let this junior and old Chen settle the matter at the hotel first, then we will come back to listen to Senior's orders. Lin Yi didn't say anything and let Xue Jianfeng pull Chen Dongqing out of the door. He passionately told the hotel staff that it was all a misunderstanding and that they would immediately compensate for the broken door. Then, he half-forcefully brought the staff downstairs to settle the matter. It was a miracle to be able to take this opportunity to escape. Xue Jianfeng wanted to hug the hotel staff and give them 2 kisses. This was the legendary timely rain. Languza watched Xue Jianfeng and Chen Dongqing leave. His heart felt like it was being scratched by a cat. He couldn't help but ask, "Boss, why didn't you just get rid of those 2? The people from the center aren't good people." Chapter 5701. Kong Xiaobo clapped his hands and said, "I understand, boss. You want to cast a long line to catch a big fish. These 2 guys are the bait for fishing." "That's right, that's what I mean." Lin Yi did not hide it. Before leaving the secular world, it was best to deal with the central forces of the secular world. Even if he could not uproot them, he should at least cripple them so that they would not dare to come out and cause trouble in a short period of time. It was easy to kill Xue Jianfeng and Chen Dongqing, but it was not easy to catch the tail of the central force. Now that the central force had exposed the tail of the Sacred Alliance, Lin Yi of course had to hold on tight. The reason why he released Xue Jianfeng and Chen Dongqing was so that he could ask them something useful the next time he saw them. Lai Changyi suddenly said, "Boss, I think the guy who called you Martial Uncle Master seems to want to rely on boss. If he can betray us and become a spy, we will have a greater chance to deal with the central force. If there is a chance, we can contact this guy in private." Lin Yi smiled and nodded to Lai Changyi, but did not say much. Lai Changyi immediately understood that Lin Yi had this plan for a long time, and there was no need for him to remind Lin Yi. Otherwise, Lin Yi should have directly caught Chen Dongqing and interrogated him, instead of letting him go so easily and letting the 2 people leave together. In addition to casting a long line to catch a big fish, he also found an excuse to release Chen Dongqing. Whether or not Chen Dongqing would really be able to betray them in the future, there was no need to think too much about it now. After all, it was just a profound ascension early stage that had been forcefully raised. Languza alone could beat them up. If they really did not want face when given, then it would only be a matter of time before they were eliminated. On the second day, nothing happened. Xue Jianfeng seemed to have disappeared into thin air, never to be seen again. Lin Yi wasn't used to using his divine sense to lock onto people yet, so he was shaken off by them after some distance. After all, they were from the ancient Jianghu, so they should have some tricks up their sleeves in terms of divine sense. As for Chen Dongqing following Xue Jianfeng to avoid Lin Yi's divine sense tracking, Lin Yi did not care too much. Chen Dongqing was probably still hesitating, and Lin Yi did not give him a clear hint, so it was normal for Chen Dongqing to do this. The medical exhibition finally opened smoothly. The people from the Sacred Alliance did not continue to provoke the Miracle Dr. Guan medical group. Instead, they set up their own stall. Of course, their stall was the biggest and the best location, much better than the Miracle Dr. Guan medical group's stall. What surprised Lin Yi was that he actually saw an old acquaintance here, the people from the Dr. Kong medical group. Although their relationship was not that good, they were still acquaintances. Although Kong Mingming was still on Heaven Tier Island, when he saw the people from the Kong family, Lin Yi would naturally think of Kong Mingming. Speaking of which, Kong Mingming and Xue Jianfeng were quite similar. These 2 were definitely the representatives of the undying cockroach family. No matter how they were photographed, they would still be able to survive. If these 2 could meet each other, there might be a scene where they would appreciate each other. This time, the representative of Dr. Kong was Kong Guifeng, Kong Mingming's uncle. Their booth was next to the Sacred Alliance, and Kong Guifeng was happily chatting with the people from the Sacred Alliance. Lin Yi suspected that the people from the Dr. Kong medical group were invited by the Sacred Alliance. Could it be that their goal was to discuss Lin Yi? Or, another possibility was that the center could not get the various formulas from the Miracle Dr. Guan medical group, so they wanted to get something similar from the Dr. Kong Medical Group. After all, the products of the two companies were very similar. Kong Guifeng did not see Lin Yi's arrival. After chatting with the people from the Sacred Alliance for a while, he followed a person from the Sacred Alliance to the resting room at the back. Lin Yi didn't have much interest in small fries like Guifeng, but he had been paying attention to the Sacred Alliance for a long time. In order to get to the core through the Sacred Alliance, he wouldn't let go of even the slightest clue. He extended his divine sense silently, wanting to monitor every movement of Kong Guifeng and the Sacred Alliance. However, what surprised Lin Yi was that his divine sense was blocked outside the resting room. It was completely isolated. This resting room is strange. After the shock, Lin Yi felt a sense of joy. His divine sense could not enter, which meant that there was an unspeakable secret, such as the important person in the center. Otherwise, who in the common world would be able to stop Lin Yi's consciousness from prying? Xiaobo, you guys stay here. Jingyi and Languza stay here to help too. I will go over there for a while. Lin Yi turned around and said, then he quickly walked towards the resting room. Since divine sense could not enter, then he would just let his spirit go in. If he could catch the core person in the center, then he could follow the clues to get rid of the power of the center in the mortal world. That would be great. At this time, in the resting room, Kong Guifeng saw Xue Jianfeng alone. Qin Dongqing did not come with Xue Jianfeng this time. He probably felt that Kong Guifeng was not worthy to be dealt with by two masters of the profound ascension stage. You are Kong Guifeng of Dr. Kong Medicine. I came to see you this time to ask you to take out the special edition formula of your Kong family's Golden Sword medicine, and then cooperate with the Sacred Alliance to develop new medical products. This condition is very generous. Are you very grateful for my generosity? Xue Jianfeng said to Kong Guifeng indifferently. He was actually very unhappy about this task. Coming to the exhibition site, it was easy to be discovered by Lin Yi. Although Xue Jianfeng used a divine sense item that he brought from the small ancient world to block the detection of divine sense, he was still not at ease. Last night, he managed to escape from the clutches of Lin Yi. What if he was caught by Lin Yi again? Kong Guifeng smiled, nodded and said, you must be young Master Xue, right? It is a supreme honor for our Kong family to cooperate with young Master Xue's Sacred Alliance. But the special edition formula of the Golden Sword medicine is an important secret that our Kong family relies on to survive. We can't just hand it over to the Sacred Alliance. I hope young Master Xue can understand. Xue Jianfeng said impatiently, it's just a broken formula, and you treat it as a treasure. If it wasn't for the fact that our Sacred Alliance has a use for it, who would want such a broken thing? Chapter 5702. In fact, Xue Jianfeng was not joking this time. He used to be a genius disciple of the Snow Sword School. What kind of healing elixir couldn't he get? The gold sword medicine wasn't even close to being a medicinal elixir. How could he care about it? If the center didn't need it, who would care about this Kong Guifeng who reeked of money? Forget it, I won't talk nonsense with you. Take a look at this video yourself. Xue Jianfeng waved his hand impatiently and opened a video file on his computer. After coming to the secular world, these high-tech gadgets became the things that attracted Xue Jianfeng the most. There was a projector and a speaker in the lounge. Xue Jianfeng directly projected the video on the screen. The image flashed and a person appeared on the screen. Illumination. Kong Guifeng was surprised. He didn't expect to see the pride of the Kong family, Kong Mingming. I am Kong Mingming. I wonder who in the Kong family will see this video of mine. No matter who it is, listen carefully to what I say. This video was obviously pre-recorded and not directly connected. Therefore, Kong Guifeng didn't say anything. He just looked at Kong Mingming's proud expression and felt a little happy. The better Kong Mingming did, the more stable the Kong family's position would be. If the Sacred Alliance wanted the Kong family's formula, they could directly snatch it. However, the fact that they were willing to cooperate should be because of Kang Mingming. I now hold a very important position in the central organization on Heaven's Stage Island. Therefore, if anyone from the Kang family in the secular world comes looking for the Kang family and asks for assistance, no matter what the request is, feel free to agree. If we cooperate with the Kang family, we will definitely not mistreat the Kang family. You must remember this. Kang Xiaoming said solemnly. Whether or not he was important in the center of Sky Tier Island didn't matter, but having House Kang of the common world fully cooperate with the center was obviously beneficial to him. The center was giving Kang Mingming face by allowing him to get a video from the heavenly island. Otherwise, if they directly attacked the Kang family in the secular world, Kang Mingming probably wouldn't dare to object. The Kang family's formula was slightly worse than the Miracle Dr. Guan medical groups. They weren't the center's main target. They were just a spare tire. Otherwise, they wouldn't have waited for Kang Mingming's video and would have been forcefully taken by the center. In the video, Kang Mingming bragged about his current status. In summary, he said that he, Kang Mingming, could totally become the support of the Kang family in the center. Therefore, the Kang family didn't need to hesitate at all. If they fully supported the center, they would definitely be repaid tenfold or even 100-fold. Kang Guifeng was very excited after watching the video. After Xue Jianfeng turned off the video, he immediately shouted with a red face, "Young Master Xue, since this is what my Xiaoming wants, then there's nothing more to say. Whatever formula you want, as long as the Kang family has it, we will give it to the center to use." Xue Jianfeng's face looked much better. After all, he knew that Kang Mingming from the Kang family was on the heavenly island, so his attitude naturally became gentler. All right. We don't need too many formulas from the Kang family. We just need the special edition of the Golden Sore medicine. The contributions of the Kang family will be recorded. In the future, there will definitely be benefits for you. Xue Jianfeng said with a satisfied smile. After settling Kang Guifeng's formula, he could leave this place and return to the secret hideout as soon as possible. It would be too troublesome if he accidentally encountered Lin Yi. Thank you for your care, young Master Xue. Then I will go prepare the formula now. I will send it to you in a moment. If young Master Xue has nothing else to do, please rest here for a while. Kang Guifeng said respectfully with a bow. Although he didn't know whose position was higher between Kang Mingming and this young Master Xue, but Kang Ming was far away on the heavenly island. He felt that it was safer to be obedient and respectful to Xue Jianfeng. Xue Jianfeng was very satisfied with Kang Guifeng's attitude. He smiled and waved his hand. All right, you go and prepare the formula as soon as possible. My time is limited. I can't wait too long. Yes. Yes. Young Master Xue, don't worry. It won't take too long. As long as you contact the people in China and let them scan a copy of the formula from the safe, it will take no more than 10 minutes. Kang Guifeng nodded and said with a smile. Then he turned around and walked out, not daring to delay at all. After Xue Jianfeng waited for Kang Guifeng to go out, he picked up the red wine glass in front of him, gently swirled it a few times, took a small sip, and said with satisfaction, "It seems that today's task is quite easy. We can go back soon. Should I report to the glasses doctor first?" In fact, Xue Jianfeng didn't drink red wine before, but when he saw Kang Xiaobo and Lai Chengyi's calm drinking posture last night, he felt that it was very suitable for him to act cool and handsome, so he searched online. Today, he learned to drink it, and it really felt good. It was just that Xue Jianfeng didn't expect that when he was talking to himself, there was actually someone who could follow up. Then I will report first. Xue Jianfeng almost threw the wine glass in his hand. This voice, isn't it Lin Yi who made me on tenterhooks? It's obvious that I'm alone in the lounge. How can Lin Yi's voice appear here? Moreover, in this lounge, I have set up a device to isolate divine sense. No matter how powerful Lin Yi's divine sense is, it's impossible to discover me. Xue Jianfeng didn't have time to think too much. He turned around in horror, and it turned out to be Lin Yi. Moreover, he was less than 2 steps behind him with a calm smile on his face. No matter how he looked at it, he felt hateful. It turns out to be Senior Lin. What a coincidence. It's really a small world. Why don't you get up and have a drink? Xue Jianfeng squeezed out a fake smile, but he was already crying in his heart. I've long said that this damn mission is the easiest to meet Lin Yi. What I'm afraid of really happens. Lin Yi smiled faintly and said, aren't you going to report the situation to that doctor with glasses? Hurry up, just pretend that I don't exist. Do you want me to disappear first? Xue Jianfeng wanted to cry but had no tears. How would he dare to let Lin Yi disappear? Wasn't this looking for him to disappear? Speaking of which, if he could really disappear in front of Lin Yi, it didn't seem to be a bad thing. Senior Lin, you must be joking. I don't know when you came. Why didn't I see you come in? Xue Jianfeng said perfunctorily, but in his heart, he was thinking about how to get out. Should I kick the lounge door down and let the staff come over to help? To be continued. Chapter 5703. I've only been here for a short while, and I just happened to see Kang Mingming's video. If you don't want to report to the glasses professor, then report to me honestly. Lin Yi walked to Xue Jianfeng and sat down casually. As he spoke, Lin Yi extended a finger. There was a purplish-blue electric arc flickering at the tip of his finger, making a light crackling sound. Xue Jianfeng's face turned pale. He was already traumatized by Lin Yi's lightning. He couldn't stay calm facing such a blatant threat. After letting out 2 hollow laughs, Xue Jianfeng had already decided to be a wise man who knew his place. He straightened his body and said with a serious expression, Senior Lin, I originally wanted to come up here to look for you after settling the matter of the gate downstairs. However, after thinking about it, I felt that it would be more sincere to ask for some useful information and come here to apologize. Therefore, I specially came here today to inform you. Xue Jianfeng felt like he was a genius. With just 2 sentences, he managed to cover up what happened last night and today, so that Lin Yi wouldn't be able to hold on to these 2 points. Lin Yi looked at Xue Jianfeng with a smile that wasn't a smile. He nodded slightly, let's hear it. It's like this. Last night, I didn't hear the reason why the center wanted the formula from Miracle Dr. Guan Medical Group, so after I went back, I specially asked around about this. As expected, I found something. Actually, the center wants to research a new medicine to advance their experimental progress. Xue Jianfeng said while wondering if what he said was related to the core secrets of the center. Normal information wouldn't matter. Lin Yi looked at Xue Jianfeng coldly, and the electric arc on his fingertip became thicker. Then he said indifferently, don't talk about useless things, get to the point. Xue Jianfeng suddenly had an idea. He couldn't care about anything anymore. He quickly said, actually, the center has always been researching medicine to increase the strength of cultivators. In the ancient Jianghu, they have successfully increased the foundation establishment stage to the golden core stage, the original soul stage, and even the profound ascension stage. I'm the best example. But after returning to the secular world, firstly, the ingredients for concocting potions are hard to find, and secondly, it's even harder to find cultivators, so this research can't continue. Lin Yi nodded in his heart. What Xue Jianfeng said was the truth. The secular world couldn't be compared to the primordial era. Not to mention those precious materials, just the cultivators were hard to find. According to Lin Yi's estimation, the best medium to promote a cultivator would be a cultivator in the foundation establishment stage. It was a huge hurdle for a heaven stage great perfection to advance to the foundation establishment stage. It was not easy for an ordinary person to advance to the heaven stage great perfection, let alone the foundation establishment stage. Not to mention the huge price needed, it was almost impossible for an ordinary person to endure the pain of the foundation establishment stage. What Xue Jianfeng said next was more or less in line with Lin Yi's conjecture. It was precisely because of this that the center had no choice but to change the direction of their research. You said that the center wants the special edition formula of the gold sore medicine to research a new recovery medicine? And then? Lin Yi was quite satisfied with Xue Jianfeng's performance, but he still maintained a strong enough tone in his words. Xue Jianfeng didn't dare to be negligent. Since he had already said a lot, he didn't mind saying a little more. This new medicine originally had 2 uses. As I said just now, it's very difficult to advance from the heaven stage to the foundation establishment stage. Ordinary people won't be able to endure the pain at all. So this new recovery medicine is to let these people successfully endure the danger of the foundation establishment stage. Originally, advancing from nascent soul to profound ascension is also dangerous. If it's not someone with a strong will like me or an ambitious cultivator like Old Chen, it's also very difficult to endure the pain of advancement. This new medicine is also effective in this situation. Although it's not very effective, it can at least increase the success rate by 10%. However, advancing from nascent soul to profound ascension requires sea beast genes, so it can't be carried out for the time being. This is the first use. The second use is to add the new recovery medicine to the biochemical humans we're researching, so that these biochemical humans can recover instantly when they're injured. Even if they can't recover instantly, they can at least recover on their own within a short period of time. To be honest, I feel that this is the main purpose. Xue Jianfeng was going all out. In order to survive, he didn't even care about helping Lin Yi with the analysis. After listening to Xue Jianfeng's words, Lin Yi couldn't help but be slightly moved. This center was indeed scary. Putting aside the fact that it could increase the cultivator's strength, the biochemical human project was also quite scary. Although the biochemical humans didn't seem to have a high level, the center could mass-produce them. Lin Yi had interacted with the biochemical humans created by Jiang Wen before. He knew how annoying these cheap things were. If the center created biochemical humans that could recover instantly, Lin Yi wouldn't be afraid, but the world would probably be in trouble. The ordinary people on the streets were the basic materials for the creation of biohumans. As long as they had some potions, they would be able to produce them endlessly. What was even more frightening was that if the center combined the 2 research projects into one and allowed the biohumans, who could heal themselves instantly and without pain, to become experimental subjects to increase their strength, they might end up with a powerful army of biohumans. Thinking of this possibility, even Lin Yi felt a chill. No matter what, this center had to be dealt with. Otherwise, there would be endless troubles in the future. Senior Lin, I've told you all the information I've gathered. Should I go back first and report to you if there's any news? Xue Jianfeng stole a glance at Lin Yi's expression and asked carefully. If Lin Yi could let him go this time, he would definitely run as far away as he could. He didn't want to see Lin Yi ever again. Lin Yi came back to his senses. Xue Jianfeng obviously didn't know how much of a shock his words had brought to Lin Yi. After thinking for a while, Lin Yi said faintly, "You stay here first. When Kang Guifeng brings the formula here, send him away and continue waiting here. I have some things for you to do." After a slight pause, Lin Yi continued, "Don't think about escaping. My divine sense will be monitoring you at all times. Although there's a divine sense barrier here, you won't be able to hide once you leave this place. If I find out that you're trying to escape, you're dead." Chapter 5704. Xue Jianfeng, who felt like crying at his own stupidity, didn't realize that Lin Yi only wanted to investigate Kang Guifeng because he saw him with the people from the Sacred Alliance. If he didn't have this item, Lin Yi's divine sense would still be able to detect Xue Jianfeng, and the result wouldn't be any different. Xue Jianfeng replied weakly. Then, he saw Lin Yi turn into a shadow and disappear from the room. Only then did he remember that Lin Yi was still a primordial spirit. No wonder he could appear behind him without a sound. When Lin Yi left the room, Kang Guifeng ran over excitedly with his phone in his hand. Lin Yi had an idea and knocked Kang Guifeng unconscious. Then, he picked up his phone and looked at it. Huh, I'm lucky. Lin Yi saw that Kang Guifeng's unlocked phone was the hardcover version of Dr. Kang's golden sore medicine, and he immediately laughed. He was still thinking about how to change this formula, but it was so easy to get his hands on it. Kang Guifeng received a document that could be changed. It wasn't a scanned document or a text message. Those weren't easy to change. Only a document with this format wouldn't leave any traces even if it was changed. Of course, Lin Yi wouldn't waste such an opportunity. He quickly changed the key ingredients in the formula. This formula wasn't as good as the Miracle Dr. Guan Medical Group's original formula. Now that he changed it, the value of the ingredients was raised by a notch, but the effect was reduced by more than half. When the people in the center verified the problem, Lin Yi would probably be able to find their nest. He put the phone back in Kang Guifeng's hand, woke him up, and left silently. Kang Guifeng woke up in a daze. He didn't know what happened to him. Was it because he was too tired? Lin Yi noticed that all the booths were bustling with activity by the time he got back to the exhibition. There were pretty boys and girls on each of the booths, attracting attention and attention. Judging from the cheers from the crowd, many of them were famous celebrities. However, Lin Yi didn't know any of these Western celebrities, so he didn't pay attention to them after a glance. Unlike the other booths, the Miracle Dr. Guan Medical Group's booth was empty. Although Sun Jingyi was a top-grade beauty, and Languza was also handsome, they weren't famous. At most, they would attract some attention before being snatched away by other celebrities. Boss, we miscalculated. We forgot to invite a celebrity to help us. Seeing that Lin Yi had returned, Kang Xiaobo lowered his head in shame. Lai Changyi smiled bitterly and said, even if we contact them now, it's basically impossible to find a famous celebrity. After all, they have their own schedule. The two of them were indeed a little careless this time. Due to the matter of the Sacred Alliance, they had focused all their attention on the Sacred Alliance. Instead, they had neglected the means to attract people at the exhibition. The exhibition had just started, but the booths with celebrities had already attracted the attention of the crowd. As time went by, the situation would only worsen. It was human nature to like liveliness. The more crowded a place was, the more people there would be. The quieter a place was, the less people there would be. Lin Yi smiled and said nonchalantly, it doesn't matter. Our products are good anyway. It doesn't matter if there's a celebrity or not. Didn't you guys say that these things were smuggled to Europe to be sold? This means that the Miracle Dr. Guan Medical Group's products have a good reputation. Kang Mingming laughed and said, Boss, you're right. Good wine needs no bush. We don't need a celebrity. As long as we bring out our own products, it'll be enough to attract attention. Lin Yi suddenly smiled mysteriously and said, actually, it's not impossible for you to invite a celebrity. There's an international superstar that came to your door. Whether you can invite her or not depends on your own methods. Kang Mingming was stunned and said, international superstar? Who? Where is she? Lai Changyi also turned his fat neck and looked around. Yeah, I don't see her either. Boss, where is this superstar that you mentioned? Lin Yi smiled and didn't say anything. He turned around and walked towards the door. Just then, a woman in casual clothes came in. She had a baseball cap on her head and a pair of wide-rimmed sunglasses that covered half of her face. Her ponytail swayed gently behind her. Seeing Lin Yi walking over, she suddenly revealed a big smile. Brother Lin, how did you know that I'm here? Seeing Lin Yi greet her with a smile, the woman in the baseball cap quickened her pace and rushed into Lin Yi's arms. She hugged him tightly. Then, she felt a little embarrassed to do so in front of so many people, so she immediately broke free. In fact, she was thinking too much. Other than Kang Xiaobo, Sun Jingyi, and the others, no one paid attention to the situation here at all. Moreover, this was Europe, and hugging and kissing were very normal etiquette. No one would look at them differently. Lin Yi reached out and took off the big sunglasses on her face and said with a smile, I can feel that you're here. Why are you wearing sunglasses in the middle of the night? Don't you think it's a little too obvious? After taking off the sunglasses, a delicate smile appeared under the baseball cap. She wrinkled her delicate nose at Lin Yi, then poked her head out from Lin Yi's side and waved to Sun Jingyi and the others, Sister Jingyi, Xiaobo, and Fatty Lai, hello everyone. Sun Jingyi, who followed them, showed a surprised smile. She took 2 steps forward and grabbed her hand. Shirhan, why are you here? Didn't you say that you're a guest for Chengyi? I'm a guest. I heard that you guys were here, so I rushed over before the concert ended. Su Shirhan said with a smile. Knowing that Lin Yi was here, even if it was her own concert, she would still rush over, not to mention being a guest for Chengyi. But this way, Chengyi would inevitably complain, but she couldn't care less. In fact, Chengyi also wanted to come. She was quite disappointed that Lin Yi couldn't come to her first concert. If it was possible, she really wanted to come with Su Shirhan. Unfortunately, this concert wasn't over yet. Even if it was over, they had to rush to the next city to prepare. She really didn't have as much free time as Su Shirhan. Chapter 5705. If they really asked Su Shirhan to hold the fort, then today's exhibition would explode. One had to know that Su Shirhan's popularity in Europe was no less than in China. It wasn't an exaggeration to say that she was an international superstar. The number of superstars in the world that could compete with Su Shirhan was definitely less than a handful. In the music industry, she had the momentum of being the world's #1. Lai Changyi came up and complained, I say, Superstar Su, you always call others brother and sister, how come it's Fatty Lai when it comes to me? Isn't this too much discrimination? Su Shirhan pretended to be shocked, ah? Isn't your name Fatty Lai? Who would call themselves Fatty Lai? It's Lai Changyi. Lai Changyi. Lai Changyi looked like he was going crazy and said in a funny way. Everyone laughed. The friendship between old friends could be clearly shown in a few sentences. Lin Yi was also very happy. Su Shirhan used to look like a fairy that didn't eat the food of the world, but now she knew how to joke around with Lai Changyi. This was a huge improvement. It was a pity that Yao Yao and Shu, the 2 best friends of Su Shirhan, couldn't laugh together. It was a pity that Lin Yi felt a little regretful. Brother Lin Yi said that you promised to go to her concert, but you didn't go. She's very unhappy. She wants you to go to Lan Mi's concert, or else she'll teach you a lesson. Su Shirhan turned around and smiled at Lin Yi. It seemed like she wanted to see how Chengyi would teach Lin Yi a lesson. Lin Yi could only smile, I can only try my best. If things go smoothly here, then I'll go with you to Lan Mi. Su Shirhan was in a good mood. This was what she wanted to hear. It was a rare opportunity to go with Lin Yi. Kang Xiaobo saw that Su Shirhan was smiling like a flower, and she was in a good mood. He immediately seized the opportunity and said, Sister-in-law Shirhan, look, we forgot to find a star to hold the line at the exhibition today. It just so happens that you're here, why don't you save the show by the way? Shirhan blushed and stuttered, what sister-in-law? Kang Xiaobo, what are you talking about? Although she had already confessed to Lin Yi, and their relationship was more or less clear, but being called sister-in-law by Kang Xiaobo like this, Su Shirhan still felt happy and embarrassed. I, Kang Xiaobo, am never a person who talks nonsense. Alright, let's hurry up and get ready to go on stage. You see, it's like putting out a fire. There's no time to waste. Kang Xiaobo smiled and gave Lai Changyi a look. Boss Lin Yi said that whether or not they could invite Su Shirhan would depend on their methods. Now that they were about to succeed, they hoped that there wouldn't be any accidents. Lai Changyi also understood. Taking advantage of Shirhan's shyness and uneasiness, he wanted to beat the drum and settle this matter. Sun Jingyi also covered her mouth and giggled. She didn't seem to have any intention of standing up for Shirhan. Lin Yi could only smile helplessly. All right, you two want to invite Shirhan on stage. No matter what, you should at least contact her manager, right? Only after negotiating the appearance fee can we continue the process. Brother Lin, you're also making fun of me with them. Shirhan stomped her feet slightly and said to Lin Yi. Lai Changyi laughed and said, that's right, that's right. Boss, what you said is wrong. As a follower, I can't side with you. We and Shirhan in law aren't outsiders. Why do we need to find a manager and talk about appearance fee? Boss, am I right? Shirhan's face became redder and redder. She glared at Lai Changyi and said, Fatty Lai, you talk too much. Do you still want me to go on stage? Hurry up and go. Kang Xiaobo and Lai Changyi were overjoyed. They looked at each other and split up like a lackey, leading Shirhan to the Miracle Dr. Guan Medical Group's booth. Lin Yi also smiled and shook his head. He knew that they were just joking. He didn't mind and brought Sun Jingyi and Languza over there. After Shirhan went on stage, she threw her baseball cap to Lai Changyi. She loosened her ponytail and let her hair down. In an instant, her body seemed to be emitting 1,000 rays of light. As expected of an international superstar. Her aura wasn't something ordinary people could compare with. Picking up the microphone that Kang Xiaobo handed over, Shirhan didn't say anything. She directly started singing. Ethereal, ethereal, extremely penetrating voice spread to every corner of the venue. It instantly suppressed all other sounds. In just a breath's time, all other sounds disappeared. Only Shirhan's voice was echoing in the venue. There was no need for any words. Shirhan's voice was better than thousands of words. After a short moment of silence, people everywhere started screaming, Shirhan. Shirhan is singing. Ah, Shirhan. Shirhan is here. Where? Where is Shirhan? There. Miracle Dr. Guan Medical Group's booth. It's really Shirhan. Reality proved that chasing stars was the same whether it was in China or abroad. When a superstar like Su Shirhan appeared, the seats in front of those stars instantly became empty and desolate. It was a miserable scene. Almost everyone who came to the exhibition ran to this booth at the same time. They were afraid that if they were a bit slower, they would lose a better position to get closer to the booth. Lin Yi was also stunned. He knew that Shirhan was a superstar, but he didn't expect her popularity to be this terrifying. This was only in Europe. If it was in China, it would be even more terrifying. Luckily, Kang Xiaobo and Lai Changyi had some mental preparation. They had already pulled Languza along to protect the booth so that the fans wouldn't rush to the stage and disturb Shirhan. Shirhan smiled and waved to the fans below the stage. She was still holding the microphone and singing. That kind of fairy-like voice made people feel a sense of joy that cleansed their souls. The people below the stage automatically kept quiet. Those who managed to get a position started waving their hands back and forth, slowly dancing to Shirhan's rhythm. Shirhan's sister's popularity is really terrifying. Whatever she endorses, there's nothing that isn't popular. Sun Jingyi stood beside Lin Yi and said with a smile. Lin Yi also smiled when he heard that, if that's the case, it seems like Shirhan is the spokesperson of Miracle Dr. Guan Medical Group. It's perfectly justifiable for her to save the scene today. Chapter 5706. Of course, most of it was because of Lin Yi. Talking about this topic today reminded Lin Yi of many things that happened back then, and he couldn't help but sigh. Recently, Lin Yi found himself thinking about the past more and more. Perhaps it was because Yao Yao and Shu were still unconscious, and he was under a lot of pressure. If it wasn't for the Central, Lin Yi would have gone back to Sky Class Island and found his cheat master, Zhang Liju, and asked him to save Yao Yao and the others. Unfortunately, if the Central didn't get rid of them, Lin Yi wouldn't be able to go back in peace. If the Central did something, it'd be too late for regrets. While he was lost in thought, Su Shirhan finished her song and smiled at the crowd, "Hello everyone, I'm Su Shirhan. Su Shirhan. Su Shirhan. Su Shirhan." The crowd burst into cheers. There was no need for any instructions or rehearsals, they just appeared naturally. One could see the influence of a superstar. Before Su Shirhan could continue, the crowd was forcefully separated in the middle. 6 European men in black suits surrounded a Caucasian young man, like a small boat cutting through the waves, forcibly creating a path. The people who were pushed away couldn't help but start cursing. Those who opened their mouths were secretly attacked by the 6 men in black suits, and they all fell to the ground, unable to speak anymore. For a moment, no one dared to go up and argue, and they could only stare at these people angrily. The white man who was surrounded by 6 men in black looked at Su Shirhan with an intoxicated expression. He came to the front of the stage and said loudly, "Beautiful Miss Su, I am Igratapovic, one of the ancient nobles of Europe. You're the goddess of my dreams, and it's my honor to be able to see you today. I wonder if Miss Su has time. I'd like to invite you for a cup of coffee." As he spoke, Igratapovich bowed slightly, and assumed the air of a gentleman. Su Shirhan smiled faintly. "I'm sorry, Mr. Igratapovic, I don't have time, so I can only reject your invitation." Lin Yi was right here, and Su Shirhan wouldn't even care about anything important, let alone drinking coffee with this ancient noble. Igor Radapovich's face changed. He was a person with a high status in Europe. As long as he was interested in a celebrity, no one would dare to reject his invitation. But this Su Shirhan rejected him without hesitation. This made him feel embarrassed. It must be that Su Shirhan didn't know who she was talking to, it must be. Such a beautiful woman should be given another chance. Igratapovich thought, then he smiled and said, "Miss Su, perhaps you don't know my identity. My family is a famous and ancient aristocratic family in Europe. Even today, it is still one of the driving forces of Europe's economy. As long as I want, anyone can quickly become famous in Europe. Don't you want to consider my proposal? Maybe we can go to the hotel I'm staying at and have a good chat. We'll get to know each other better." Lin Yi's face turned cold. Was this Povich guy stupid? How could he say something like this to Su Shirhan in front of him? Was he tired of living? But Lin Yi didn't need to say anything. Su Shirhan's fans couldn't take it anymore. No matter how strong this Igratapovich was, humiliating their goddess in front of them was unacceptable. Many people pointed at him and started cursing. Unfortunately, the 6 men in black were far stronger than normal people. They were almost equivalent to early-phase golden-class physical practitioners. The normal people who spoke up were quickly beaten to the ground. "Stop. What are you doing? Please leave this place, I don't welcome you." Su Shirhan, who was always calm, couldn't hold back her anger. These were her fans. No matter what, she couldn't tolerate someone hitting her fans in front of her. Igratapovich laughed coldly. "Miss Su, where do you think this is? This is Europe. You're just a celebrity. Do you think you're a noble princess? Be a good girl and come with me. We'll have a good chat in the room tonight. I guarantee that your reputation in Europe will rise, or else." Humph. With a flash, Lin Yi appeared in front of Igratapovich like a ghost, raising his hand and slapping the idiot across the face. The sound of the slap was crisp, and the idiot was sent flying. Just like Fan Jian, all his teeth were scattered in the air as he fell to the ground with Fan Jian. "I told you to leave, so leave. What's the point of talking so much? Who do you think you are? Don't you know how popular Su Shirhan is? You're just a small family in Europe. How dare you talk big?" Lin Yi said mockingly as he looked coldly at Igratapovich, whose face was half swollen and the corner of his mouth was bleeding. If it weren't for the fact that he was just a normal person, Lin Yi would have killed him already. After Lin Yi finished speaking, the 6 bodyguards reacted and roared. One of them went to support Kratapovic while the other 5 pounced on Lin Yi at the same time. Without Lin Yi doing anything, Languza shouted excitedly. "Boss, I'll do it." It wasn't easy for him to get a chance to fight. Languza didn't want to miss it. A whirlwind swept past and the 5 bodyguards in black were all grabbed by the collars of their shirts by Languza. They were unable to move at all. To Languza, this kind of thing was like a walk in the park. It was easy and enjoyable. Languza turned around and asked, "Boss, how should I deal with them?" "Kill them?" Lin Yi said casually, "Don't kill them. The rest is up to you." Languza nodded and excitedly brought the 5 bodyguards to the side. He began to think about how to deal with them. These weaklings could only be used to train his control. Boss said, "As long as they don't die, it's fine." After that, Lin Yi heard the sounds of bones breaking. Languza was indeed using these people to practice his control of his strength. It was a pity that his control didn't seem to be very good. Fortunately, he knew to cover the mouths of these 5 fellows first, so they didn't let out any cries of agony. Lin Yi was stunned. Xue Jianfeng thought that he might be able to use this chance to escape. He kept the item that exposed him and left the house. There wasn't anyone outside. Xue Jianfeng searched through 2 rooms before he found someone from the Sacred Alliance. He ordered him to go to the Miracle Dr. Guan Medical Group's display cabinet to make sure that there wasn't any damage. The person from the Sacred Alliance didn't understand. The Miracle Dr. Guan Medical Group was their enemy. Why would he help them solve their problem? If their problem was big enough, wouldn't it be the Sacred Alliance's chance? However, Xue Jianfeng was sent by the Sacred Alliance. His background was shocking. So, this person didn't dare to ask too much. Who knew what the higher-ups were thinking? He was just a small character. He should just listen to orders. After respectfully agreeing to Xue Jianfeng's request, this person from the Sacred Alliance ran to the front. At the same time, he used his phone to contact the organizer of this conference. Xue Jianfeng thought that since Lin Yi couldn't leave now, it was a good opportunity for him to escape. Since he had already gotten the special edition of Dr. Kang's golden creation, he directly forwarded it to the glasses doctor. There was no point in staying. Good job. Go back to the resting room and wait. I'll look for you later. Xue Jianfeng was just about to sneak out when Lin Yi's telepathic voice rang in his ears. Xue Jianfeng didn't dare have any more thoughts, and could only obediently go back to where he was and drink his wine. At Miracle Dr. Guan's booth, the people from the Sacred Alliance didn't appear directly. They were watching the situation from afar. They already told the organizer of the conference not to cause trouble for the Miracle Dr. Guan Medical Group. Now, the 4 security guards immediately received an order from the higher-ups to apologize to the other party. They couldn't cause any dissatisfaction. The 4 people were stunned. Luckily, the order was transmitted through the earphones. If it was transmitted through the walkie-talkie, these 4 people wouldn't be able to live anymore. They would be humiliated to death. Ha 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 ha, I was just joking. Looks like you guys haven't gotten used to our sense of humor yet. That's a pity. My friends from afar, I apologize for our joke just now. I hope you guys won't be unhappy. The face of the security guard who wanted to expel the Miracle Dr. Guan Medicine Group changed. He suddenly laughed loudly and put away his gun at the same time. The other 3 weren't idiots. They just received the order and saw that the leader found an excuse, so they laughed and said that it was just a joke. As for the gun, they naturally put it away. Everyone, please look over here. The products of the Miracle Dr. Guan Medical Group are definitely the best in the world. Our organizing committee spent a lot of effort to invite them here. The effect of the medicine is enough to prove it. My friends who need it, please seize this opportunity. The security guard turned around and immediately advertised the Miracle Dr. Guan Medical Group. It was as if the tension just now was really just a joke. Lin Yi smiled coldly at their performance. He didn't say anything. It seemed like the Sacred Alliance had a lot of influence here. Just a phone call was enough to make these security guards slap themselves in the face and still have to smile. Kang Xiaobo and the others felt strange. But since Lin Yi didn't say anything, they wouldn't say anything. Although they didn't understand the details, it wasn't a bad thing. They just let these security guards perform. Chapter 5708. If it was possible, Igor Radapovich would have killed them and told them that it was just a joke. Can't they have a sense of humor? The 4 security guards were cheering for the Miracle Dr. Guan medical group for a while, but when they saw Lin Yi and the others staring at them coldly, they couldn't help but smile awkwardly and turn to Igor Radapovich. After all, he wasn't someone they could offend. Young Master Igor Radapovich, this isn't something we can decide. Let's leave this place first. These Easterners have a powerful background. Can you go back and discuss this with someone else? The head of security bowed and apologized to Lin Yi before walking over to Igor Radapovich's side and begging softly. If Igor Radapovich didn't want to give up, they would be the ones in a difficult situation. However, after seeing how powerful these Easterners were, he didn't think that Igor Radapovich would be stupid enough to fight them head-on. These young masters were good at stabbing people in the dark. If they could handle it head-on, they could do it. If they couldn't, they would choose to attack from the back. Igor Radapovich glared at Lin Yi furiously. Half of his face was still swollen, and all his teeth had fallen out. It was a huge impact on his handsome image. There would be reporters paying attention to the exhibition, and if it weren't for the fact that it was only the beginning and the reporters weren't in position yet, he'd probably be on the headlines tomorrow with this face. Kid, Igor Radapovich, will remember you. As long as you're still in Europe, you'll fall into my hands one day. Be careful. Let's go. Igor Radapovich fiercely left with his bodyguards after uttering a few harsh words. Igor Radapovich was actually shocked by the Dahuan pill that Lin Yi took out. Broken bones healed in such a short time, and he could barely walk. It was a miracle medicine. If it was possible, he wanted to find a way to collect some. It could save his life in a critical moment. What he didn't know was that although Lin Yi didn't care about the Great Recovery Pill, Miracle Dr. Guan's medical company really didn't sell it. Boss, are we going to let them go just like that? These idiots actually dare to threaten boss. How about I follow them and kill them? Languza wasn't having fun, so he came over and asked in a low voice. Lin Yi waved his hand and said, "Forget it, they are all ordinary people. You really have time. Let them go. What can a few ants do?" If it was someone who posed a threat, Lin Yi would, of course, eliminate the danger first. But this Povich guy, no matter how much he jumped around, he wouldn't be able to affect Lin Yi. Forget about Lin Yi, even if it was Su Shihan, they wouldn't be a threat. After all, Su Shihan was a top-notch master in the common world. A normal army might not even be her opponent. These small fries, what was there to worry about? Languza smacked his lips and thought to himself, trash is still meat. Unfortunately, boss won't allow it, so I can only let them off this time. After Igor Povich left, Su Shihan sang another song and regained her popularity. She also comforted the fans who were beaten up and left the stage. The voluntary help ended there. Next, it was Kang Xiaobo and Lai Changyi's business. Su Shihan wanted to spend more time with Lin Yi. Plus, Sun Jingyi wasn't a stranger to her, so they started chatting behind the stage. Although Su Shihan didn't go on stage anymore, she was enough to attract more and more fans. The Miracle Dr. Guan Medical Group's booth was almost packed. Luckily, Kang Xiaobo and Lai Changyi were masters, so they didn't let people rush in. But it couldn't go on like this, because no one cared about the Miracle Dr. Guan Medical Group's things. Everyone only had Su Shihan in their eyes. It seems like it's not a good thing to be too popular. Lin Yi smiled and said to Su Shihan. In his heart, he already wanted to leave with them. After all, there were so many people around, it was hard to talk properly. Sun Jingyi seemed to know Lin Yi's thoughts and suggested, why don't we leave here first? Anyway, Kang Xiaobo and Lai Changyi are here. The exhibition shouldn't be a problem. Sister Shirhan staying here will affect the normal operation of the booth. Su Shirhan stuck out her tongue cutely and smiled, then I'll leave. Brother Lin, where are we going to eat? Languza's eyes lit up before Lin Yi could say anything. There was no way he could stop the keyword eat from entering his ears. Boss, let's go eat. There's nothing fun here. It's better to eat. If they could fight here, Languza could barely stay for a while longer. But Lin Yi didn't let him fight, so his only fun was to eat. Of course, after eating, his only fun would be to buy clothes. Since the Sacred Alliance wouldn't come looking for trouble, Lin Yi didn't need to stay here anymore. He turned to Languza and said, bring them to find a place to eat. I still have something to do. I'll come back later. Protect them. Languza's face was full of smiles. He patted his chest and promised, don't worry, boss. I'll protect them well. The place to eat will definitely satisfy you. If it's not good, come find me. Lin Yi couldn't help but laugh. If it's not good, then find you to eat it all? That's to your liking. Sun Jingyi and Su Shirhan didn't have any objections. Lin Yi had things to do. They wouldn't stop Lin Yi from leaving. So after saying goodbye to Kang Xiaobo and Su Shirhan, they left the booth. Lin Yi casually set up a divine sense barrier. With his current divine sense, it wasn't hard to hide from cultivators of the same level or higher, let alone ordinary people. It didn't attract the attention of the fans at all. After Su Shirhan walked out of the door, the fans didn't even realize that their goddess had already left. It was even easier for Lin Yi to leave. In a flash, he was already out of the fans' encirclement. He was going to talk to Xue Jianfeng again. He wanted to see if he could get more information from him. Most importantly, he wanted to know the core members and the location of the base. Chapter 5709. Yo, if it isn't Lin Yi. I didn't expect to see you here. What's wrong? You couldn't survive in that place anymore, so you came back here? A dark male voice sounded beside Lin Yi. Lin Yi paused and turned around. It was Kang Guifeng's son, Kang Xiaolong. This guy used to call himself Sun Yan's fiancé and had a lot of dealings with Lin Yi. He was far more talented than his cousin, Kang Mingming, but in the end, that idiot Kang Mingming was doing much better than Xiaolong. Lin Yi didn't bother greeting this old acquaintance. He only looked at him coldly and turned around. Scram, I don't have time for you. Xiaolong laughed and pinched the light purple tie around his neck. He looked at Lin Yi with disdain. Did I hit a sore spot? Are you angry now? We're all friends here, what's there to be embarrassed about? Lin Yi couldn't be bothered with this idiot who thought so highly of himself. If it was Kang Mingming here, he wouldn't mind teaching him a lesson. Xiaolong? To put it bluntly, he didn't even have the right to be taught a lesson by Lin Yi. Hey, Lin Yi, even if my Xiaoming kicked you out of that place, you don't have to run away from me, do you? You should at least talk to me, we're old acquaintances after all. Xiaolong saw that Lin Yi didn't say anything and got even more smug. He shook his suit and quickened his steps. Lin Yi frowned and stopped. He didn't want to bother with a small fry like Xiaolong, but it would be quite annoying if Xiaolong kept following him like a fly. Xiaolong, do you want to die? Lin Yi said coldly to Xiaolong, the impatience in his voice clear. Xiaolong paused and laughed. Are you trying to scare me, Lin Yi? I've heard from my Xiaoming that you're living a pitiful life in that place. You're just a small fry at the bottom of society, running away the moment you see our Xiaoming. If it weren't for Xiaoming's kindness, he'd have killed you long ago. What? You can't live there anymore, so you came back here to act cool? That's right, I'm not your match, but if you dare touch me, my Xiaoming won't let you off. Lin Yi almost laughed out of anger. After all this time, it turned out that this idiot Kang Xiaolong was just bragging to his family, making Xiaolong think that Lin Yi had really escaped from Sky Class Island, so he wasn't afraid of Lin Yi at all. He used to think that Xiaolong was a cunning person, but now he realized that someone who could trust Zhao Ming had to have a pretty high IQ as well. Let Kang Ming come to me for revenge. Lin Yi didn't want to waste any more time with Xiaolong. He slapped Xiaolong's face after saying that. Xiaolong didn't even have time to scream before he was sent flying. Half of his face was swollen, and he spat out a mouthful of teeth. He looked exactly like Igratipovich. If it weren't for their different hair and skin color, they'd look like brothers. Coincidentally, Xiaolong landed in Xue Jianfeng's resting room. He was here to look for Xue Jianfeng, and when he saw the room number, he grabbed the door handle and opened it, screaming, "Master Xue, help! I'm Kang Guifeng's son, Kang Ming's cousin. Someone's trying to kill me, you have to save me, Master Xue." Xue Jianfeng was waiting alone, bored. He didn't know how Lin Yi was going to deal with him, but when he heard Xiaolong shout, he didn't think much and stood up. "Who the hell dares to kill someone in front of me, Xue Jianfeng? Especially when it's my business partner. Do you want to die? Kang Xiaolong, don't worry, I'm here, and I'll make sure you're safe." He didn't even think that the person dealing with Xiaolong would be Lin Yi. Otherwise, he would have found a turtle shell to hide in and become a ninja turtle for a while. Xiaolong was overjoyed. He dared to mess with Lin Yi because Kang Ming's bragging had convinced him, and also because he'd just gotten in touch with the Sacred Alliance. He knew that this was the power that Kang Ming controlled, and he wasn't afraid of Lin Yi at all. That was why he dared to mock Lin Yi without a care in the world. With Xue Jianfeng's strong stance, Xiaolong straightened his back again and turned to Lin Yi, who was slowly walking towards him. "Lin Yi, don't be too cocky. I'll make sure you won't be able to walk out of this door today." Xue Jianfeng was walking out, wanting to see who hit Xiaolong when he heard Lin Yi's name. His whole body shrunk a few centimeters, completely different from the Xiaolong who had just straightened his back. "Who? Lin Yi?" Xue Jianfeng was still thinking about how Lin Yi was going to deal with him when he heard that the person he was going to deal with was Lin Yi. He was scared out of his wits and quickly released his consciousness, wanting to see if it was someone with the same name. Unfortunately, this was Europe. There was no way something like that could happen. "It really is Lin Yi. King tricked me." Xue Jianfeng wanted to cry, but no tears came out. He wanted to cut Xiaolong into pieces. Lin Yi's calm voice came from the corridor. "Xue Jianfeng, you're here to act cool again. This habit of pretending to be pretentious really needs to be corrected. Don't pretend to be pretentious all the time." Xue Jianfeng's whole body shook. He didn't wait for Lin Yi to finish speaking. He rushed to Xiaolong's side and slapped the other side of Xiaolong's face. The defenseless Xiaolong was sent flying again, crashing into the wall on the other side. Luckily, he didn't spit out any teeth this time, since he'd already lost all of them. Xiaolong didn't even have time to react before Xue Jianfeng's foot landed on his chest. His body that was halfway down the wall stopped in its tracks. "Kang, who do you think you are? How dare you order me around? Are you kidding me? Do you think I'm someone you can order around? Do you believe that I won't teach you a lesson right now? I'll make sure you can't take care of yourself for the rest of your life." Xue Jianfeng was panicking. He was afraid that Lin Yi would turn against him, so he decided to deal with Xiaolong first. Xiaolong looked at Xue Jianfeng, stunned. He stuttered, "Master Xue, you didn't you say you're going to protect me?" Chapter 57:10. Lin Yi smiled faintly. "Xue Jianfeng, are you ignoring me?" Xue Jianfeng quickly turned around and smiled. "Senior Lin? Why are you here? What a coincidence, what did you say? I'm ignoring you? How is that possible? You're too much of a joker." I'm teaching my little brother a lesson, and my eyesight isn't good. I didn't notice you were here. I'm sorry, please forgive me. It's fine if your eyesight isn't good, but why are your ears so bad too? Didn't you hear what I said just now? Lin Yi looked at Xue Jianfeng with a half-smile, waiting to see how the guy would continue. Ha 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 ha, you might not believe it, but my ears are ringing with all sorts of teachings from you, Senior Lin. If you were to speak to me, I wouldn't be able to tell if it was an illusion or not. Xue Jianfeng's shamelessness had reached the pinnacle. He could come up with this bullshit without even blushing or gasping for breath. Lin Yi was completely convinced. He wanted to see where this guy's bottom line was, but he was destined to be disappointed. This guy had no bottom line at all. Xiaolong was completely dumbfounded. His swollen face was like a pig's head as he laid on the ground. He couldn't understand how Lin Yi, the guy Kong Ming said would run away the moment he saw him, could be so powerful that even Master Xue was fawning over him. Lin Yi looked at Xiaolong coldly and waved his hand. Scram. Tell Kong Ming that I'm waiting to see him. Xiaolong felt as if he'd been pardoned. He didn't dare say anything else as he quickly got up and ran. Although his face was a little pitiful, his body didn't suffer any serious injuries. Lin Yi and Xue Jianfeng had controlled their strength, and their attacks were well controlled. They only wanted to embarrass him a little. Xue Jianfeng looked at Xiaolong's back with envy. How great would it be if he could run with Xiaolong? Lin Yi stepped into the resting room, and Xue Jianfeng took one last look at Xiaolong disappearing around the corner before withdrawing his envious gaze and following Lin Yi. Senior Lin, do you have any other instructions? After Xue Jianfeng came in, he tactfully closed the door and stood respectfully at the side. Lin Yi didn't beat around the bush, getting straight to the point. Who's in charge of the common world right now? Where is the headquarters? Xue Jianfeng was slightly startled. He guessed that this was a sign that Lin Yi was going to make a move against the center. However, he had no way of completely betraying the center to Lin Yi. After all, the center's poison was still in his body. If the center was finished, then he, Xue Jianfeng, would be finished as well. This, I really don't know. Senior Lin, think about it. How long has it been since I left the primordial underworld? How could he have figured out all these things? Xue Jianfeng said with a troubled expression. What he said did make some sense. Lin Yi frowned slightly and said, You said that the person you were going to report to was Dr. Glasses? Who was this person? Where is your base of operations in Milva? Xue Jianfeng thought that Lin Yi already knew all of this, and he couldn't hide it even if he wanted to, so he answered straightforwardly, Dr. Glasses is in charge of the center's research. As for his identity, he's probably the person in charge of the research, right? I'm not too sure myself. He's probably one of the higher-ups in the center, but he's definitely not the most important one. This wasn't a lie, but Xue Jianfeng was implying that Lin Yi had no use in capturing that Dr. Glasses. He wasn't the key person in the center. As for Milva's base, it doesn't have a fixed location. It often changes locations every day or two, so if Senior Lin wants to find the base here, there's no point in doing so. There's nothing of value here. Xue Jianfeng didn't know if Lin Yi would believe him if he said this, so he could only sneak glances at Lin Yi as he spoke, ready to change his words at any time. Lin Yi didn't doubt Xue Jianfeng's words. Although Milva wasn't bad, the headquarters of the center was indeed a little lacking. Moreover, it was normal for the center's headquarters to change locations frequently after knowing that he was here. After all, the incident at K Luo Mountain had directly chased the center out of the ancient underworld. Senior Lin, why don't you let me be your spy? If I discover that the leader of the center has appeared, I'll inform you immediately. What do you think? Xue Jianfeng suddenly said. Of course, these weren't his sincere words, but if he could deceive Lin Yi and make Lin Yi let him go, it would be a very good thing. Lin Yi was slightly startled. Regardless of whether Xue Jianfeng was sincere or not, this was a good suggestion. After all, Lin Yi didn't intend to kill Xue Jianfeng right now. Before he completely captured the leader of the center, he absolutely couldn't let the center have any suspicions. Otherwise, it would be even more difficult to find clues about the center. Your suggestion is not bad. If you are sincere in helping me, I won't mistreat you. Lin Yi nodded noncommittally and said indifferently to Xue Jianfeng. Hearing Lin Yi's words, Xue Jianfeng was instantly overjoyed. He had only said it casually, but he didn't expect Lin Yi to really show signs of agreeing. It seemed that this young master was indeed a genius. Senior Lin, please rest assured. I definitely want to help you sincerely. As soon as the leader of the center appears, I'll definitely inform you immediately. Moreover, if Dr. Glasses has any research progress, I can also inform you at any time so that you can be prepared. Xue Jianfeng just wanted to leave Lin Yi as soon as possible. Therefore, he kept giving empty promises one after another. Anyway, once he escaped, he wouldn't be able to care about Lin Yi anymore. If you put it this way, I'm really quite interested. If you're making such a promise just to get rid of me, then the next time I see you, it will be the day of your death," said Lin Yi with a faint smile. Although he originally intended to let Xue Jianfeng go, there was no harm in saying a few more words of this kind of casual threat. Xue Jianfeng's body trembled slightly. He quickly put on a smile and said, "How could I? I've admired Senior Lin for a long time. It's my fortune to be able to forsake the darkness for the light. Please rest assured, I'll take care of this matter." After saying that, Xue Jianfeng looked at Lin Yi cautiously. His eyes were filled with, "Can I go?" Lin Yi smiled faintly and said, "If you go back like this, you might be suspected. I'd better leave a mark on you." Xue Jianfeng was still thinking about leaving a mark when he immediately felt a pain in his left arm. Then, he heard a crisp crack. His arm was actually broken by Lin Yi. You're tuning into the Romantic Tales YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.